toques. Hello. We wear toques in the winter, eh? Hello. 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 Let me tell you about Putin. Hello. Hello. What is this about? Hello. What is this about?
All agents are currently assisting other customers. Please stay on the line and your call will be answered in the order it was received.
You are going to tell me everything I don't know, or I'm going to blow your head off.
Monsters exist. Oh, shit.
Today's Nerd Fights was brought to you by the fine slaves, people, that's what they told me to say, at Kurogamart. This week's Kurogamart special is the Stovocore, ideal for all your baking, cooking, and warming needs, because today is a bad day to fry. Oh, wait, you can fry with it too? Well, why didn't somebody tell me that? No, I worked for months on that pond, and now,
While Bird cries himself to sleep, I just want to say thank you to the real heroes here, the supporters of this channel that make this video and others like it possible. Remember, if the good Lord were going to give the world an anima, he would stick the hose in Kuroga.
Computer and program?
stick with me, baby. I'm the guy that you came in with. Luck be a lady. Luck be a lady.
And here we are.
Hello there.
So, you muted yourself,
Yeah, I
Jason.
left myself
Because
muted. I
It
said
just,
good
it just
evening and
wouldn't
afternoon
be a Nerd Fights live stream if you
without
didn't
a little bit
screw
of
your audio in
unmuting.
some way.
Yeah, a little bit of unmuting fun, yeah.
Yes. By the way, Gorilla's Random Thought says, hey, never heard of these. Not sure what he was referring to. Do you guys know what he's talking about?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Just that's right. But welcome everybody. Today we got a double header here that's gonna be pushing the boundaries of how much we can get done in one live stream, because we got to talk about Kong Skull Island, in addition to the premiere episode of of Monarch.
Well, I figure there's enough, we could probably bounce back and forth, really. I mean, because there's a lot of intertwining, especially with that scene you showed in the...
There's one scene that intertwines.
Okay.
I disagree with you. I know the only thing that intertwines is that one of the characters in the past portion of Monarch happens to be a character who is in Kong Skull Island. I mean that.
We'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Oh, Gorilla, you haven't seen Kong Skull Island or Monarch is a series, not a movie. Well, shame on you. All right, so let's do the hot takes first of all. So, Danny, since this was your idea, you get to go first.
Okay, well, I actually have seen all 4 of the episodes of Monarch that are out, but Saturday, we watched...
No, we're just talking about Kong right now.
Oh, just talking about Kong. Well, okay, so... Well, the reason I was saying this, after watching Monarch, I went back and I watched all 4 of the legendary movies, but I watched them out of order. So I watched Kong Skull Island, then I watched Kong versus Godzilla, then I went backwards to Kong King of Monsters, and then I went back, or Godzilla King of Monsters, and then I went backwards to the 2014 Godzilla. And then I watched Kong again last night so I could take notes for our little argument, debate, discussion today. And I actually even increased my score on criticlist.com, because after watching it a second time, there's so much about this movie I really, really enjoy. There's the action element, there's the suspense element, there's kind of a tinge of horror, there's definitely the monster kaiju fighting. But then the John C. Reilly character really brought a lot of humor and heart to it that I liked. And I thought Samuel L. Jackson was great as a Captain Ahab type of character. Mm-hmm. So that's my hot take. I thoroughly am in the can for this movie. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Jason.
Best movie I've ever seen with Brie Larson in it.
Now that's a hot take.
I will agree with you 100% on that.
Same, totally.
I had to live up to the name hot take because that's a pretty hot take.
Yeah.
So. No, this is the second or third time I've seen the movie. I enjoyed it the first time, even though I actually only watched it out of curiosity to see who she was because of all the controversy that had kicked up around Captain Marvel back, well, however many years it's been now. Yeah, I was glad I watched it. Surprisingly enough, had both previous alumni from the MCU and yet one more person from the MCU that we wouldn't see until we watched second season or first season as well.
He was in first season.
Yeah,
of
talking about
Loki.
Casey. Talking about Casey, right?
Yeah.
I popped when I saw him. I was like, oh my god, that's Casey.
Didn't even make it into the movie a few minutes, and next thing I knew that night I messaged Mike. I'm like, hey.
Well, and I don't know if you saw the I told you to watch the pitch meeting on it, but
no, I haven't had the time.
But yeah, they talk about the producers for this movie. They're part of a Marvel-based religion. So Stan Lee be with you, and also with you. So
yeah,
but
no, I very much enjoyed it. I enjoyed it again this week watching it, even though I stayed up stupid late on my Monday night to do that. But it was well worth it because it's just a fun movie. It's a good romp. Sam Jackson and Brie Larson, such good.
I would say this is my favorite Samuel L. Jackson and Brie Larson movie.
That's an even better hot take.
There
you go.
That's. No, I liked. It's funny because obviously I own this movie already, so obviously I liked it enough to buy the movie. But I thought it was like the weaker film of the legendary MonsterVerse films, and then I rewatching it because I've watched it a couple of times this week. The first time just because to kind of just soak it in, and then I had to watch it again for editing purposes, and then watch scenes over and over and over for editing purposes.
Right.
And I have to say, my position on that, in a way, has kind of reversed. I think it's the best film of the legendary monster films. It just doesn't fit in with the rest of them. That's a problem.
It's going to be a nerd fight.
Is that I really do like this film a lot, but I think that Kong kind of belongs in his own universe. I think, and I do like this take on Kong, even having him being 500 feet tall and all that. And if you do eventually want to have him fight Godzilla, fine, but I think having his second outing be Kong versus Godzilla was a mistake, because they passed up on the classic Kong story, and so this was a great introduction to a series of movies that never happened, and that's basically.
This was a sequel to 2014's Godzilla.
Well, a sequel in that it takes place in the same universe. It's not really a direct sequel. It's actually a prequel, technically.
It's more like,
I guess
it's more like a universe building, like phase
yeah,
one.
because there's nothing about Godzilla 2014 and this movie that are directly connected, except for the fact that the organization known as Monarch is there, and at the very, very end, in the post-credit scene of this movie, they kind of hint that eventually we're going to have King Kong versus Godzilla. So that's.
Well, if you watch Godzilla 2014 and then Godzilla King of the Monsters, those feel like sequels. I mean, the same actors are in them. The doctor, the Japanese guy with the notebook.
I think it's Dr. Kurosawa or something like that.
Something like that. He's in both of them. The general.
Right, but this one's like a way outlier. Nobody in this movie is in any of the others.
Yeah.
And in fact, Monarch, the series, is the first time they've tried to expand on any characters from this movie.
Which is part of what I dig about the Monarch series, is that they are trying to add a little connective tissue, because they're calling it the Monsterverse,
right.
And they got the 4 movies that are already out plus this, and I kind of dig it. I just wish it was doing better. Apparently, it's not doing very well viewership wise.
Well, I think I don't know. I have no idea. It's Apple. Is that from Apple, or is that from like independent sources saying that? Because.
Well, mostly the talking heads I watch on YouTube saying that, so.
Yeah, they're probably just saying it because, they're trying to, poke the bear. Because I mean, think about it. According to the Phantom Menace, everything is a dismal failure, and every company is about to be bankrupt. So, you know. However, I do think that this is probably the best thing in the quote unquote MonsterVerse overall.
This movie?
This movie, yes. And that's high. But you see, here's the downside. So we go from what I think that, like Danny was talking about, the action pieces. Like I know Stanley, I think, said it earlier. The helicopter set piece at the beginning of this movie is phenomenal, right? So that's probably my favorite scene from the movie, because just the way they shot it, like with the apocalypse now sunset.
That's what I was about to say. Yeah, very Apocalypse Now.
And
Yeah.
everything about that scene was just gorgeous and scary and ferocious and all that. But this Kong, this huge beast, would eventually become basically in a movie where we see a giant Donald Trump and a pink-haired Godzilla coming soon.
Why you got to bring up that new movie?
I'm just saying that's what it's devolved into. So, and that's
unless there's a twist that we don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I could be wrong, but that's my take on that trailer. Is we got 500-foot tall Trump and pink-haired Godzilla, and so I think they're going to try to make it political.
Yeah. Well, I was worried about that with the the pink Godzilla that they show.
But I didn't even think about the fact that we have an orange ape now.
Orangutan, yeah, it is kind of funny.
You know, and I do think that there's a reason for that. All right, so we're going to try to get through the plot of Kong fairly quickly because it is, much longer than a typical episode. But it opens up with a kamikaze pilot and an American pilot crash landing on a remote island in the South Pacific, and they're about to kill each other.
This is what 1944, I think they said, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And by the way, right here, I'm sorry, his finger's gone. You cannot grab a katana, especially when he's trying to drive it towards you. You can't grab a sword like that and stop it from coming to you.
Yeah, that was.
It's a Hollywood thing.
It's a bit much.
Yeah. And I mean, because his fingers. I mean, katanas are, while they're not as super powered as the movies sometimes makes them, they are known to be razor sharp swords.
It's a properly taken care of family sword.
The World War
sharp as sin.
Right. Well, and the World War II katanas, this is true fact here. The World War II katanas were a problem for the Americans because we were taught, and we still teach soldiers this, is that if someone attacks you with the sword, to use your rifle to block the sword. But the katana could literally cut right through the M1.
Well, especially if it didn't hit where the breach was on the rifle.
And so they would try to block the katana by holding up their rifle, and the katana would slice through it. And so that's how stupid sharp these things are. And they're not invincible, but they are very, very, very sharp. And they're sharp enough to where with your bare hands, you are not grabbing one and stopping it from stabbing you. His fingers would simply be sliced off like so much meat. And have you ever used a real butcher's knife? I don't mean like some cheap knife that you get.
Proper sharp.
Yeah,
I have right through
one.
A tomato like there's nothing.
Well, you can go through. Well, think about this. Go right through a big old roast.
Oh yeah.
And now think about his fingers are tiny compared to that big old roast.
However, we are watching a movie with a giant gorilla.
Yes, I know. But come on, that's
Yeah. No, I agree. If you're gonna poke at something, I think there might have been a more interesting way to do that, but
right. They could have drug out the fight long enough for Kong to make his appearance without him grabbing the sword.
Yeah.
Plus, he would never be able to use his fingers again from the severed nerves. And John C. Reilly seems to have perfect use of his hands, and you don't see any scars or anything. So
yeah.
And in fact, he wields that same sword in later in the movie.
Yeah.
Yes, he does. Ariel says it's the wedding ring that's protecting his fingers.
Well, that's another, because gold is very
Gold
soft.
is super soft.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a
yeah.
sword like that would cut right through a wedding ring.
Yeah.
All right, so then out of nowhere, the giant hand comes crashing down. By the way, inspiration or not for the very end of Cabin in the Woods.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah,
I
it's
love that movie.
and up comes Kong to interrupt their little tiff.
Yeah, if there was ever a moment that makes you reevaluate what matters at that moment in time.
Yes,
Yeah.
carrying a 500-foot.
The 500-foot gorilla would do it. Yeah.
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 And again, beautiful introduction to Kong, beautifully shot. Because with the light behind him and everything, they hide him in shadow just enough to make it dramatic, but not so much like in the Godzilla movies to where you can't see him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I do like that. And then, of course, we get our credits. And yes, people, Brie Larson can actually show emotion. She does in this movie. So stop saying she can't.
Yeah, she actually has range. If
Yeah.
you know.
There are a couple good scenes of hers.
Yeah, I'm not
I was shocked
her
watching it.
performance was not Academy Award winning. She did win an Academy Award for Room, but which I haven't seen. But this was not an Academy Award winning performance. But she was a secondary character, and quite frankly, an annoying character. Which is, but her character was supposed to be annoying,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
so all right, so we cut to Rand. Is it Randon? I always get it.
Randa.
Randa. Randa in Washington D.C. with the line that's supposed to be ironic for when this movie came out, but is even more true today.
There'll never be a more screwed up time. Well, this is right after we pulled out of the Vietnam War. Is the time frame?
No, I know, but it's just
point
funny
was,
that he says
statement
that.
about when what was the release date of this film?
2016. It was 2016.
Right.
So think about it. Trump was already considered by especially people on the left to be a complete nut job, and so right here we have Trump getting elected. We have all this stuff going on, and so they throw this line in there to make a statement about it. Like he's saying, there'll never be a more screwed up time in Washington, and what they're saying is, just wait till 2016, buddy.
Which is even funnier because
now it's 10 times worse.
Yeah, now it's like, here, hold my entire keg, not just my beer.
Yeah, 2023 is just like, yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
It's like wait till 2024 is like waiting around the corner going, oh, there.
Yeah, it's like we almost went to World War III 14 times. There's been like murder hornets and pandemics. It's like
something I want us to take a note of. So this guy here who came up with the Hollow Earth theory.
Right, which is a big part of the later films.
Yeah, and I wonder if in Kong versus or Godzilla versus Kong, or what, I can't remember which way it goes. You remember the Skarsgård character wrote a book on it, like in that takes place, I don't know, 40, 50 years after this.
Right, because this is
do they ever reference this guy? I wonder. Like, I
don't think they make a direct. They should, but I think. Well, you know what? I'd have to go back and re-watch Kong versus Godzilla because I remember when they first introduced you to Skarsgård's character, he talked for just a second in some throwaway dialogue about his Hollow Earth theory, but I don't know if he mentioned who came up with it.
Yeah, so I just looked it up because OCD. It's Godzilla versus Kong. So yeah, there's only one movie.
I gotta take this. I'll be right back.
Okay, there's only one movie in the franchise that starts with Kong, and that's Skull Island. So to answer Ariel's question in the chat earlier, or I think it was Ariel, it might have been Stan, but the order of films is Godzilla, Kong, Skull Island, Godzilla, King of the Monsters, Godzilla versus Kong,
right,
and then Monarch, and then the trailer for this new one, I guess, it's Godzilla X Kong, the New Empire. Why X? Shouldn't it be V?
Because they screw, I think. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, but what that's the thing. We got Godzilla and Godzilla King of the Monsters before Godzilla versus Kong. We should have had a second Kong film as well. I think. I think
Yeah.
we're missing one film in this franchise, and I'll tell you why real quick. My thing is Kong has to leave Skull Island at some point, and they hand wave it away in Kong versus Godzilla, and they
And like,
also
how did the doctor get him into that fake Skull Island? Like, yeah, there is like a whole movie missing.
Yeah,
You know
they,
what I
they
mean?
hand wave away a lot of stuff because, like, all the natives on Skull Island, oh, yeah, they were killed by a storm. You're telling me people that have lived there for hundreds of years on an island surrounded by a perpetual hurricane were suddenly just wiped out by a storm?
Yeah, be like, all the Canadians died because it got cold outside.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense at all. And you managed to build a facility that traps Kong in it in a giant holodeck. Where did that come from? You know, there's a lot missing. We needed that Kong goes to New York and climbs the Empire State Building. We needed that, and we didn't get it.
I think I think in their defense, the thought process was, we've gotten that so many times, and then the Jack Black movie that Peter Jackson directed did that whole thing already.
Right. And did it beautifully, but
and I think that I think they were just trying to separate themselves from that.
yeah, but they went from Kong being king of his island to Kong being a prisoner on his own island.
No, I agree. There's definitely a missing movie there. I totally
Yeah.
agree. But the like you said at the end of the movie, which I thought was weird because we never see any of the characters again that are sitting at that table watching the Monarch footage of them discovering Godzilla,
Right.
teasing the next movie would be a Godzilla movie. I just didn't expect it to be the one that it was. Like, it almost seemed like they were leading into Godzilla versus Kong, which they could have. It could have done what you're talking about. They could have ended up fighting in New York City. He could have been on top. Like he could have combined those elements.
Right.
You know.
We needed to get a reason to get Kong off of Skull Island, not just everybody's dead and we want him to escort us to this hollow Earth. That didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's not what this review is about. So,
Right.
Ramda asked the senator to help them get to Skull Island so the commies don't get the information. Which, by the way, in 1973, that would absolutely work.
Oh yeah, I mean, you're jumping into the Cold War.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
you want the Reds to get here first?
Yeah.
I loved
Yeah.
his response.
Yeah,
That
that actually makes sense. Yeah.
yeah.
And it's funny because it was that senator was played by the same actor who played Clyde in The Witches of Eastwick, which, by the way, May Divorce Be With You, episode 1 was taken down by some unscrupulous BS. I am in the midst of re-editing it, but there won't be any clips in it, so you'll just get to see my pretty face and Stacy's ugly. I got that backwards. You'll get to see my ugly face and Stacy's pretty one, and that's it. Dropping that this weekend. So anyway.
All right, so then Samuel Jackson gets a call to take his troops to escort them to the island.
He's drinking a beer in his office as a colonel. Is this realistic?
Oh,
In
on the field?
Vietnam?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Okay, okay.
At the end of the
If he
war?
was in garrison, or not garrison, but if he was on an American base, heck no.
Okay.
But in Vietnam during a war, absolutely.
Okay.
And keep in mind, he's not just some pencil pushing guy. He's out there on the front lines most of the time.
Oh, to quote him from later in the movie, he is the cavalry.
I'm trying to remember, who is this dumb looking dude? I know I've seen him in something.
I've seen him in other things before too, but man, did he get like the raw end of the deal later on in this movie.
Well, a lot of them do.
What was his character's name?
Chapman.
Chapman? Okay.
Yeah, he's Chapman. He's the one that has all the munitions later where they go to
Yeah.
find him.
He was in. He did Koba's voice in all the more recent Planet.
Yeah,
of the
but there was
Apes.
something else.
I've
something
seen
like-
him in a
And
movie. Yeah.
He played Victor Von Doom in Fantastic.
That's
Four.
what it was. Yeah, he was.
Oh, I've never seen that
Four
movie.
Stick.
Yeah,
Four Stick.
I've never seen that. Is there something else I would have known him from? Because he did look really familiar.
He'd played Durotan in Warcraft.
No, I wouldn't have seen that. Who knows? I'll look it up later.
Yeah.
The Angel Destroyer. Here comes the Grump.
Oh, maybe he's got one of those faces.
So Ramdad and his buddy go to now recruit Loki to join them, who's making money at the bar.
You know what this movie did for me while watching it? It made me want more non-Loki Tom Hiddleston movies. Like I really liked him in this
he's
movie.
a fun actor.
Yeah.
Tom Hiddleston's a good actor. I like him, and he can do action. That's the thing. You think of Loki as the wienery brother of Thor. You don't realize that he's big, he's tall. He's just not as big and tall as Chris Hemsworth.
I'm telling you, he needs a leading man role in a non-MCU movie. I think he'd do great. You know, like rewatching this, I was like, damn, he's more than Loki.
What's funny is that he actually auditioned for Thor first. Right?
Yes, I've seen that Disney footage. It's hilarious. He wanted to be Thor, but he did not look right for Thor.
Oh yeah.
And then when they called him, he thought that they were going to have him be one of the Warriors 3. And when they offered him Loki, he was kind of surprised.
Well, I mean, anyway, yeah.
Yeah. Because this does not look like the smarmy.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
This is like a mercenary for hire.
Right.
Gives no F's, you know.
Right. So then we're introduced to Brie Larson. Yes, that Brie Larson. And she is a Vietnam era photographer that hates the army, which
is very period appropriate.
Yeah, I was about to say. I mean, that's pretty on point, though.
Yeah, this is another character that is very believable for the time. This is where you can tell whoever wrote this movie understands the late Vietnam era and how the attitude of many people were.
Oh, so well that they even had Sam Jackson's character say, "You guys lost us the war."
Right.
To her.
Right. And their little discussions were felt very, I mean, I almost had flashbacks myself to the 1970s. You know, it's like, that's the way people were talking back then.
Yeah.
Or there was another line where he's like, "We didn't lose the war, we abandoned it," or something like that.
And a lot of people felt that way.
Yeah.
And what's kind of funny is almost every protest that's made in this the answer is actually yes to all of them. Because media control. Well, that's why they controlled the media. To go quick tangent, but that's why when Gulf War I happened, media access was so obscenely controlled.
Right.
And just like in Vietnam, media access did end the war because Highway of Death, for those who don't know, was that moment when they caught the Republican Guard and the regular military making a run for home base back in Baghdad, and the Americans basically went up there and it was fish in a barrel in the worst kind of way. The footage got loose the next day, and then everyone went, "Whoa!"
I don't remember. Does anybody remember what the name of the ship was in the original King Kong? I don't.
I don't.
No, but I can certainly find that out. But yeah, they did a really good job with the banter and the whole whose political outlook was trumping the others, and it was. I really
some
enjoyed
little
it.
things like I know, like I've heard people complain, like stuff like what's on the screen right now that made the movie feel woke to them. But it's like, again, you weren't around in the 1970s. If a woman was going with a military unit as a photographer, that was something that the dude would say right off the bat. You know, it was like when.
Well, I love how this dude, like, you know, showing his sexual bias here. Wait a minute, Mason Weaver's a woman. You know,
right, but that's exactly what the reaction would be, because you didn't see a lot of male photographers going into dangerous situations. However, then at the same time, like, I like that Samuel L. Jackson, when he found out what she was doing before, was like, "Oh, okay,
SS Venture."
Okay,
so it wasn't that. Okay,
but yeah, this is actually There's nothing with this that's incorrect. It's
Yeah,
It's
right
all
here.
very carefully well
Sam
written.
Jackson is so good in this movie. He really
Yeah,
is.
this is a good performance for him. This is definitely not Star Wars, you know. Um, and so
Or
yeah, right here,
a Secret Invasion.
yeah. So right here, he's talking to Bree, and he's like, "So where you been?" And then she gives that she's been embedded with this unit, and so his
Exactly. That's when he says that's people like you.
right.
That, you know,
But he also recognizes that she can handle herself.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah, she's not just somebody that sits in Saigon and takes pictures all day.
right?
Yeah.
She actually went into the thick of it.
Yeah. And yeah, then we get the and then this is another thing that liberals were saying a lot back in the 70s to people who got mad at the press and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, it's an interesting dichotomy.
What president, you got to forgive me, this 6, 7 years before I was born.
LBJ started it. Nixon
who-
finished it.
Nixon ended the war.
Nixon took us out of the war. Okay, so it
Yeah.
was Nixon. So
It's
we
kinda
go
funny
what?
'cause contract
Nixon,
copy-
Ford, Carter. Is that how the order was? Like,
Yeah, Nixon, when he resigned, Ford was his vice president, and
Yeah.
so Ford took over, and then Carter was elected,
okay, and then
and then Reagan.
Reagan, who was president when I was born. So yeah.
Right.
Well, technically, not well.
After,
was
just after
just after.
Reagan
He
was
took office
elected in
2 years
1980.
later. Yeah.
Yeah.
January of '81. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
First president I remember, and let me put it that way.
first president I can clearly remember was Ford. I don't remember Nixon.
So I got a question. Was Ford really a bumbling clown like Chevy Chase made him
No,
out to be?
what happened was Ford. There was an incident. Like it's kind of like how everybody makes fun of Joe Biden saying he can't climb a staircase or ride a bicycle. Ford tripped, and he actually tripped and hit a foreign dignitary when he tripped. And so then from that point on, Chevy Chase just made it so that every time Ford walked in, he
I
falls
went
down and everything crashes. And,
probably like at least 20 years ago. I went down a deep dive of like watching all that old school
Saturday
SNL
Night stuff.
yeah, and I was cracking up, and I was always wondering, is that true? Was Ford really like that big a goof?
Yeah. He really he wasn't. He was a pretty generic president for the most part, but he did trip and fall into a foreign dignitary at one event, and so he caught a lot of flack for that.
Yeah.
Just like Carter. Carter was just funny.
So now, just try to move it on. Although you guys can have me all night. I mean, because I was so excited about this. I literally watched 4 movies, rewatched 2 of them. So and I do think we should try to weave stuff when it comes up.
Yeah, but I can't just jump around in the edit. Okay, so
Fair enough. Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
So here we have, and I know they say it's the Athena, but I have to, here's where I'm going to throw my red flag out there. This is not the Athena. This is the Voyager. See if you can figure out why.
I have no. Yeah, I mean, I'm not as well versed in, military craft as you gentlemen.
No, you don't have to be. Because there's enough room for 3 or 4 helicopters on the deck, and they have like 30 helicopters.
Oh! You mean this is the Voyager, as in we have an infinite
Voyager.
supply of shuttles?
Yeah,
that's very true.
Trek.
Yeah.
Okay.
There is no freaking way that they had a fleet of helicopters on this ship.
Well, maybe there's an elevator down into the cargo bay.
This is this is an oil tanker. Come on. If they took an aircraft carrier, fine, but they didn't. They took a freighter, and freighters don't have secret hangars with 20 helicopters in them.
The power of infinite storage.
Yeah. Speaking of the power of infinite, here's the power of the infinite storm that surrounds Skull Island.
Yet all the indigenous people were killed off screen by
a storm.
A storm.
And by the way,
It's almost as bad as she died from losing the will to live.
Yeah. and apparently the storm just became a non-issue in Godzilla versus Kong. What happened to the perpetual storm that's been there for hundreds of years?
Maybe they
Well,
used their
well,
Monarch technology to disperse it. I don't know.
well, that's the thing. They did all that off screen.
Yeah,
We
there's
don't know.
zero explanation because
Yeah.
they,
Like
they
how did they get Kong off that island?
right. They
How?
do all this world building around
That's
Kong
why.
and Skull Island, and then they just drop it.
That's
You know?
why there really is. I agree with you. I think they should have done Godzilla versus Kong after this,
Yeah.
where
And then
Kong
Trump-
left the island himself. He goes and he does the Empire State Building, Godzilla, like, and they fight. And that would have made that would have filled
Right.
in the.
And when we have Trump Kong and pink-haired Godzilla in the next movie, we see there's like 45 Kongs in that movie. But in this movie, they make it clear that Kong's the last of his kind.
They did, and they said he was still growing.
Well,
Yeah,
that,
man, like,
they
there's
make
there's
that
a-
comment in this
Yeah.
movie. Yeah.
they do that on purpose because this Kong is notably smaller than Godzilla. And so
Yeah.
and the Kong that we see in Godzilla versus Kong is somewhere like around 100 feet taller than what we see him here.
I mean, Godzilla's
He's
only a
still
little
freaking-
bit taller.
Yeah, Godzilla is still bigger, and Godzilla. The stupid thing is, if you're going to go through the trouble of growing him, don't have Godzilla just curb stomp him like that. You know, that's just like, and not only that, but okay,
Kong won round two, and then to quote
only
Skarsgård,
because he had a freaking magic axe. You know, and by the way, so we have in 1944 we see Kong. Then we skip ahead to 1973. No noticeable difference in Kong. But then from 1973 to 20.
we only see Kong's hand in the top of his head, though. Really, we didn't see like how there wasn't any
You could get a
perspective.
good scale.
Yeah, but yeah, but so if you looked at his my head here is the King Kong head in the 44 scene, and the guys are about to his head. About like this. Later in this movie, Brie Larson, there's a scene where she's standing where
about the same size in respect.
no, she looks like an ant. Like she'd be way small.
Well, she fits across the palm of his hand, so
Right.
so it would be
not the
like from
whole
here-
across of the palm.
No,
Well,
no,
we'll-
but it'd be
we'll
like
see that in-
yeah, we're gonna see it later on. We could get
Yeah.
pause there,
So
but that's a typical scaling thing. I mean, we could have that issue with science fiction. All the
right,
time.
I don't mind. I can get over that. You know, because to me, like when they screw up the little things that are easy, that's what pisses me off. Like the sword and the fact that there's 75 helicopters on this boat.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. Especially when they get other things so right. It's
Right,
like-
because they could have very easily fixed that. I mean, the boat is mostly visual effects anyway, so replace it with an aircraft carrier or put bigger boat or multiple boats. You know, there are ways to get around the fact that you have way too many helicopters. But to just have like, and we'll see it in a minute when they take off, you see like 4 helicopters on the deck, and then immediately we see like 15 helicopters in the air. And it makes no effing sense.
Okay, I found a distance shot, and there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. There's 12 Hueys and 2 big guys,
Right.
a Sea Stallion and a Chinook,
Right. Which there's no way
which actually matches up with what you see in the flight.
right.
But
When you look at the deck here, there's only I think the most we see on the deck, like right here you see 3.
yeah, but if you pull back to there's a distance shot from the ocean at around 19 minutes 55.
I think the most we ever see on deck at once is 4.
No. Pull back. Go back to 19 minutes and 55 seconds or so. And it's a full distance shot. Like it's not there's no people. It's just a boat. and the
After
water.
their conversation.
It's after this conversation, but right
Okay.
there.
Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 helicopters and the 2 big ones.
But I'll give them that they could be paired and they're hiding another one on the
But they're
other
not
side.
because we see them on the deck and they're not.
Okay, so there we got 6 plus 2. So yeah. there's some mathing issues
Yeah.
going on otherwise.
It's like that end of Clue where there's like 1
Yeah.
plus 2 plus 1.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah,
trying to
'cause
figure out how many bullets are left in the gun.
Look right here. Here's an aerial shot before they take.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's only. Well, that looks like even less helicopters.
That looks like 4. Now the
One,
other 2
two,
could be
three,
hiding behind.
4. Yeah.
Could be hiding behind the big-
loss of perspective
Well,
because
hold
of
up.
the Chinook being in the way. It's right there with that raised
three.
edge.
But there's only 4 helicopters in the
Yeah,
shot.
there's only 4 helicopters in that shot. Yeah.
Plus
Yeah,
the
so
2 big
there's-
guns. And I'm okay with the 2 big guns because you see the one on each end of the ship.
So Martin in the chat says, "Stop arguing about the choppers."
Yeah. They couldn't get to the chopper.
It's not a chopper.
Yeah, so there. Now
You see, even okay. Well, now you can see another one. Okay,
Right.
so there's
So-
a
so
5th.
there's-
Oh yeah, there. Yeah,
Okay.
Okay.
and there could be a 6 that's just in tight.
Yeah.
So fine if there's up to 6, but we see a lot more than 6 in the air.
Hey, one of you guys move your phone a little bit further away. I don't know if I'm the only one here. I can.
I
keep
hear
hearing
it
that.
too. I don't know.
Yeah.
why.
Okay. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Some kind of
Nice.
weird.
Oh, my cell phone's like way over to the left.
Yeah. Mine. Yeah. So I don't know. Anyway.
Maybe it's
All
just
right, so
close.
so right here you see they're getting ready to take off. And it's like, okay, there's 6 helicopters are going to take off now. So you look, and look, there's no way, there's no room on that deck for more. And besides, you couldn't pair them up because the blades would be crashing into each other.
Maybe it's like a shield ship, and like the
I'm
deck
telling
like
you, there's
opens up, and then
there's
like
a
they raise
bay,
up
man.
6 more or something.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so then so like right here, I'm like, okay, fine. There's 3 of them. There's 2. There's wait a minute.
Wait, what the? Oh, okay, hold up.
1, 2,
hold up.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12. There's 12 birds in the air.
I only see 11.
neither of these are the big
Where's the 12? Oh, what happened? What happened? to the screen?
That happens sometimes. Sorry.
So I saw 11. Where was the 12th? I see 1.
So there's 1 on the
2,
left,
3,
2.
4, 5. Oh, there was
3.
okay. He
Yeah,
covered
there's-
that little one in the back. Okay,
Yeah,
I
there's
see
a
it now.
stacking almost in the very rear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, where the hell did those other 6 come from? Okay.
All right.
Yeah, so it makes
Wait, a
no
mommy helicopter and a daddy helicopter.
Martin says it's the TARDIS ship. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ariel, you didn't even reply to me in my chat, so there's no cargo hold that's going to
Yeah,
hold 6
look,
more choppers. Come on.
Even if there was 6 choppers in the cargo hold, look at the deck of that ship. How would you bring them up? There's no crane, and there's no
Sorry.
hatch to open up for an elevator.
Get to the elevator. Oh, wait. Oh, found him.
Where?
23 minutes, 47 seconds. There's 2 rescue birds hiding in a a
2.
cargo
Okay,
bag.
where are the other?
yeah.
Where are the other 4? Where are the other 4 then?
Yeah, I
no,
know.
those aren't them. Those are not them.
Those aren't those. Those are the guys that are supposed to show up later.
Yeah, because those are the guys that have to go to the north end of the island at the end of the movie.
and go save them.
Okay.
So it's like, yeah, this is a magic ship.
Yes.
This is the tickle trunk.
Again, this is a
for
movie
all
with-
Canadian viewers. They'll know that.
And if they all they have to do is cut and paste and put a second ship in this shot.
Oh, I know.
It
Yeah.
wouldn't
That
be-
would have made all the sense in the world. Give me 2 ships. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
All right, so now they're going into the storm, and by the way, classic Samuel L. Jackson in here. You know, when he's talking about the Pennsylvania Steel and Icarus,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
that was some great Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You
Give him the right lines, and he can monologue his face off.
Yeah, well, you just let him use some energy, and he can just read the phone book, and it'll be awesome.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, did you hear his rendition of Ezekiel 25:17? My God, man.
All right, so then we get.
So go back, go, rewind. Who was holding that camcorder? I'm curious.
I didn't see. All right,
Okay.
so they have aerial shots of Kong Island. They're explaining. It could have been John Goodman, but I don't know.
You mean when they got through the
Just
clouds?
just now, like I saw a shot of the front of a
Yeah,
camcorder.
I do think we see. Yeah, right there. There's
Yeah,
John.
okay, yeah, it is. So see, I'm telling you, and his hand's
That
not
doesn't
cut yet.
make me
His
concerned.
hand is not cut yet. I'm telling you. I can prove to you exactly when the scene from Monarch happens. Look at his outfit, his camera, his hands. He doesn't have a bandage on his hand yet. That happens after the wreck. So continue.
I don't know.
I think they painstaking. I think they really did go through some painstaking. Because, dude, that Monarch series. In fact, I feel like being Charlie Day and making one of those string things just to connect all the dots for you guys. Because they do so much jumping around in that show. And I know we've only watched the first episode together. I've watched 4. They jump around.
About episodes we don't know about. So shh.
Okay, fine.
And by the way, Jason and I were talking about what we'll do is next week we'll watch 2 episodes of Monarch, and we'll do that until we catch up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, so there's our our 6 helicopters.
Yeah. Yeah, our infinite supply of helicopters.
Yeah. By the way, why aren't these things like 18 feet tall?
I was about to ask that. Why is it we see a giant like buck
see a giant water
in the
buffalo.
water? It's a water buffalo, but the deer are tiny, like normal deer. You know.
So they dropped their seismic charges, which I can't believe that anybody actually believed that they were going to use these to map the island.
You can see they just like enjoy blowing shit up. So.
Right.
Look, and considering how much military they went in there with, and it was like the most telegraphed. Yes, this is all for science.
Yeah, look, I like little things like this. I like this shot here, the little glasses reflection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love the tree here that we're going to.
And then here comes it's like a lawn dart.
Like with this shot here, I got to say, this is where I think is the interesting disconnect between the left and the right in this country, because when liberals see this shot, they see a psychopath, right? Because here's some crazy guy who just gets off on blowing things up. However, and I'm talking about someone, when I say the liberals, I don't mean just someone who happens to vote Democrat. I mean someone who is an activist kind of person.
Yeah.
As opposed to quote unquote normal people, just look at this is someone who's like a kid with a firecracker. It's like boys like to blow things up. That's just a thing. Yes,
You know what I see when I look at this picture right here?
What?
America gets me hard, man. I love it. I love it.
Makes you need to go look for a flag to salute.
Yeah, right.
See, that made me want to salute a flag, but I did think about like when I was a kid, I actually here's what my big thing was. My dad used to buy like he didn't buy, but he got them from work because they gave him away these big cases of matches, right? And so I would actually painstakingly take dozens of matchbooks and scrape off the phosphorus. And then I built and in our backyard, I built, we lived out on a ranch. So backyard means like, acres of land, but I built, it was probably about 3 or 4 feet tall, a dam, that looked like some kind of like the Hoover Dam. And then I ran a garden hose to it to be the river running into and, flooding the area, making a little lake. And then I would take the phosphorus and put it into the dam and I'd blow up the Hoover Dam. If I had a camcorder, I would have filmed it and turned it into a little movie.
I thought you were about to say you had like G.I. Joes with it. That'd have been more epic.
Yeah, no, I had the little green army men.
Okay.
The little green army men were on the dam and fighting around the dam, and then someone would set off the explosives, and the dam would blow up, and then of course the water would go rushing out into the field. And I could get away with that because we had well water, so we didn't have to pay the city for our water.
Right.
But that's what I see when I look at this face is a kid blowing things up.
I see a man proud of serving his country. That's what I see.
He did it.
So then all of a sudden we get
tree until the lawn dart.
I am Groot.
Yeah, Groot gives him a face punch right here.
Oh my God! Yeah.
And they're like, huh? How did a tree do that?
It reminds me.
yeah.
It reminds me of the scene from the movie Serenity, and he goes, "Guy killed me, Mal. Killed me with a sword. How weird is that?" And they're like, "Gorilla killed me with a tree, man."
So here we got the guys in the helicopter, and this was actually really well done as far as the visual on this, because it looks like, oh man, we crashed. What the heck happened? And then all of a sudden the helicopter is moving, and they're like, what? Huh? What? And yeah, what?
Yeah.
You're like, holy crap!
That's a torso and a
Yeah.
something.
Oh yeah,
there's a
I'd tell you right
face.
now.
Yeah.
Worst death in the movie. This guy right here.
I hope he shit himself first just to get a little even with Kong for eating him. That's all I gotta say.
Well, I don't think Kong cares so much. I love the cut to the sandwich too. Just let it play.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, right here where he goes.
He's like,
"Meow."
"Shoop."
Yeah.
That was the best edit in the film right there.
Yeah.
All right,
And then here's our Apocalypse Now shot.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
one of them.
Ah.
So yeah, that is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, my hat's off to everybody that had a hand into creating this shot.
Yeah.
Um,
And they got all the
So-
actors to do the perfect brown alert look on their face.
yeah,
I'm not familiar with Jordan Vaught Roberts, but he's the director. I don't know what else he's done, but I remember that name because it stood out so much. He clearly paid homage to Apocalypse Now in this shot.
and yeah, I remember Stanley. They made a poster out of this shot, and for good reason. It's gorgeous.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this shot makes the movie. And there's another shot that I like even more. We're going to see in just a couple of minutes here. And they're just like, oh, there's the brown alert look.
See, because we don't see. Ooh, we're about to prove my point. See, he's got the camera. Next, after the crash, he ain't got no camera. Why? Because in the scene in Monarch, he drops the camera running away from the thing. So I'm telling you, it lines up, dude. There's no retcon.
So you're saying
I watched
that,
it.
You're saying that the Monarch scene was immediately after the crash?
Yes, because you'll see. Because when Samuel L. Jackson meets up with all the guys, he hugs them and he makes like
I remember.
a lot of time had passed, more than we realize because it's a movie and they cut. So there's plausibly enough time for John.
Right here, this is my favorite.
Oh yeah, look at that.
That's the shot.
Boom. Pause that. Yeah. Right. Boom. Yeah.
With all 6 helicopters.
Yeah.
Although there's another shot when they're flying around and when there's 60 helicopters.
Well, and he's already taken out like at least 3 helicopters.
At least 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
He did the
They respawned, man. Come on. It's a video game.
Yeah, they had a
3 or 4.
respawn point nearby.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, this shot right here is my favorite shot in the film.
It's gorgeous, man.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Where you could,
Yeah.
this is the first time we see really exactly how big Kong is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, they're screwed. And then the actual fighting, which,
the whole time people shoot at these big creatures in all the movies I watched, I'm like, what are you thinking? It's like,
Well,
they're
they
so
hurt it. They
big,
hurt him.
they're little. It's more of an annoyance that's going to piss him off. It's like shooting me with a BB gun, expecting to kill me.
here's my problem. You're in a freaking helicopter. How about you go up about 1,000 more feet?
Yeah, all you gotta do
Yeah.
is go up
And then drop some of those seismic bombs on him.
Yeah.
Although the one cool thing that goes on in this whole helicopter destruction gizm-gasm is when he grabs the tail of the sea stallion and the tail rotor cuts his hand a little bit, and he actually has like a "what the hell was that" kind
Right,
of
I do like
reaction.
it. They make it clear that Kong is not invincible.
Yeah.
Yes, there's like a rocket hitting him and stuff, but that stuff hurts him.
Yeah, but okay, if a missile didn't penetrate his skin,
I think it does, though. Kong's bleeding all over the place.
Yeah, but it's more like it's like just but the flesh wound. It doesn't act like you would think. Wouldn't a missile at least act like a bullet to Kong?
But death by 1,000 cuts. If you shoot him enough, eventually he would go down. And
I don't know, man. Like,
And if you got a lucky, for example, even if you had a 50 cal and you shot him in the face and you hit his eye, you could.
yeah. See why
Yeah.
I was thinking about that too in all these movies. Why don't they go for the soft spots? Go for the eye. Go for
Right.
the eye.
That would be my first target. Blind him, hit him in the eye.
Yeah.
Yeah. They just
Then he
go
can
in.
just flail around, and while he's flailing, then you just riddle him with bullets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the visual effects on this are just through the roof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing this film is actually as old as it is, because this looks better than a lot of movies that
You
come
guys,
out.
you got to realize this is a decade. They made this movie a decade ago. That's crazy.
Right. But it
Well,
looks
wait a minute.
Well,
They
no,
actually-
not 9 years ago. 9 years ago. My bad. 9 years
But
ago.
well, actually, it came out in 17, but that still means it would have
I
been.
thought
in
it came out in
production
16.
17, but still, it would have been under production in 15, 16.
yeah.
So
Oh, you're
yeah,
right. It
we're-
came out in
we're-
March 2017. Okay.
So we're rapidly coming up on the production timeline of this movie being a decade ago, and
Right.
it looks really good.
I think it looks better than like a lot of stuff that's coming out now.
yeah.
Also, and it's funny, I watched a short on a channel the other day talking about how the last absolutely awesome CGI'd face on a man-sized character was the Squid Captain guy from the second
Oh,
Pirates
yeah.
of the Caribbean movie.
Davy Jones.
Yeah, and that after that, nothing has ever been as good as that, which is hilarious because that movie's like 15 years old.
Is this for me? Are you?
Oh, the mama's boy scene. Well, you know,
Yeah.
not intentionally, but you know.
The shoe fits.
But this is another thing that I like is like if you have
Yes, Mama. I see you in the chat. I love you.
if you have a couple of soldiers sitting next to each other and they're going down and they know each other, this is the kind of banter I would expect.
Yeah.
So again, really crisp writing on this.
I love my mama so much.
Yeah. And yeah, right here's your.
Oh.
Yeah, just the whole back end of that poor Chinook is just Chinooked.
Yeah. So it's Kong is just wrecking these. I love the guy running on fire in the background there.
Ariel on the stream that Salty did the other night where he's playing a video game talking about Godzilla stuff. I brought that up. That was my biggest problem with it because I actually liked the 2014 Godzilla movie. Maybe we'll review it someday, but it was way too dark. It's way too dark. You could hardly see stuff.
Yeah. Well, that's why I said this movie actually shows you Kong.
Yeah, in the daylight with the there's so many good scenes. Yeah.
But it's not just the fact that Kong looks beautiful. Look at this shot right here. Is like, I mean, you have a bunch of people retreating, and Samuel L. Jackson just like, okay, I got to kill this thing.
He's
If
got a
you
dude on fire next to him, and he's just standing in a trance looking at God.
You
or King
didn't
Kong.
tell anybody what this was from, they would think that this was a Vietnam period piece.
Right.
It's that freaking good.
Yeah.
Well, and that's why, like, and to digress for just a second, why I gave such high praise to Godzilla -1 is that in Godzilla -1, if you took Godzilla out of the film, you have a really good post-World War II movie.
So I just watched.
Hold on, our doorbell just rang. And check what's going on here. I'll be right back.
Okay. Well, both of them are away.
Yeah, so you get to riff for a minute.
Sure. So, anybody who saw Salty's stream, he was playing some weird video game. I don't know what it was, but he was talking about this, and I let him know that Alex, the Salty nerd, put out a review on Criticless, where he Criticless. You can follow me on there, Dork Knight LV, like everything else. Where he was kind of said the movie was overrated, kind of gave it a low score, and I thought he was the only one. Well, the Salty nerds put out their video review of it yesterday or day before, and I'll be damned if Kadish doubled down on it. He did not like it either. Yeah, he said it was overrated.
Which
yeah,
is
they
funny
were split.
Kadish is the guy that will like the weirdest things.
I know. That's why I was surprised. Like Kadish and Alex said it was overrated, and Jude and Vader loved it, and I was shocked by that. So
I saw Drinker dropped a Drinker recommends.
yeah, he recommends it. I mean,
On the-
everybody,
I haven't watched that yet because he only dropped
everybody.
it
Are you
today.
saying the salty nerds said this movie's overrated?
I told
Yeah.
you that Alex said that, but here's the part you didn't hear. They released their video, Kadish. So Jude and Vader liked it. Alex and Kadish thought it was overrated and not that good. And I was like,
You know what?
whoa.
Kadish can suck my left.
Hey, hey, whoa, 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 whoa,
He is
whoa,
so
whoa.
wrong about it.
Hey, 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 hey. The power of Christ compels you. Stop it. Stop it. Behave. Don't say anything like that.
Well, that's just wrong.
I'm thinking about seeing it, man. Like they just announced that they're like doubling down. They're opening it up in like 2,500 more theaters here in America. They're going to let it have
Seriously?
between America and Canada.
really
Yeah.
good, dude.
Yeah, so I think I might go see it this weekend. You know,
What I said, and I stand by it. It is the single best Godzilla movie ever made.
see, that's what everybody except the salty nerd is saying. Even crusty people who shit on everything are loving that movie.
Yeah.
That's what I don't get.
It is an
Yeah.
incredible film. It's got incredible characters, which is something Godzilla movies always lack. Is really
See, you say that, dude. That first Godzilla movie, when I watched it the other day,
Godzilla 2014?
yeah, I cried 3 different times.
Of
Like,
course you did.
Don't pick anybody with a. You know what? I gotta pee, so you can pick on me behind my back. I'll be
Okay,
back.
so before you go to the washroom, -1 has a almost exact same scoring from critics and from users on Metacritic of nearly
it?
a full 8 out of 10.
Yeah, and what's
I
it's
know
like,
that last time I looked,
I-
Rotten Tomatoes had it at like 98 and 98.
yeah, 98 on Rotten Tomatoes. Last
Yeah,
time
well,
I
I
I know
trust
you don't
Metacritic.
trust Rotten Tomatoes, blah blah blah. But I'm
But-
just
well,
saying,
that's what Critic
across the
List is
board,
for.
everybody loves
No, Critic List, guys, sign up. It's the anti Rotten Tomatoes. We want real people with real voices to have their thoughts heard on movies. I gotta pee. I'll be right
I
back.
bet you that's one of the times that he cried. Absolutely.
No, that was I cried. I
and you know,
cried
I
when the
cried-
wife died. I cried when that happened, and then
Yeah, I cried too. I cried because I realized that they did a bait and switch, and Bryan Cranston wasn't the star of the film. And I'm sorry, watching Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch accept as husband and wife in this movie was just painful. I thought they were lame.
Critic List has it at 85% -1.
And what's a typical film for them?
For Critic List, don't know.
Yeah.
This is the first time I've ever.
Oh, that's
really
the site Danny's on.
Well, a lot of people are starting to go there. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking about joining. We could do a Salty Nerds page, or not Salty Nerds, a Nerd Fights page on there.
Yeah, and then have all the 3 of our scores on stuff.
Yeah.
Actually, that would be a good way so that we're no longer trying to remember what did I give that the other day.
Right. So that might not be a bad idea.
No, exactly. So yeah, and if I look at just out of curiosity, I look at what IMDb list shows it. I just want to see. Oops, Pirates Godzilla, come on. Godzilla -1. And they list it at an 8.5 out of 10 IMDb rating, and popularity is rising.
Yeah, it is ridiculously good. And Godzilla is scary as F.
Did I miss anything?
No, we were just going over some more
He's
scores.
just confirming that the critics all love the movie. And I will tell you, when Godzilla unleashes his breath in this movie, you will crap your pants. I mean,
I also heard that there's apparently an atomic bomb sequence that's supposed to be the best that's ever been filmed or something. Like at the first, there's 2. I guess the first
they
one.
showed they showed the Bikini Atoll. They did a redo of the Bikini Atoll scene from above, and it did look really nice. But that was to me minor in comparison to when you. Like I said, I don't want to do spoilers, but when you see Godzilla unleash his breath,
Yeah.
The first time you crap your pants. The second time you get that Star-Lord, there's a little pee coming out of me. When you see his tail start to glow and you know it's coming.
So
Because
early,
you know what it's going to do, because this is not your father's atomic breath.
so before I left to pee, you said something about a bait and switch.
It was a bait and switch.
The one
I
with
thought it
Bryan
was.
Cranston.
I thought it was ballsy because not only did they kill off
It was not
Bryan
ballsy, it
Cranston.
was
Hold up.
BS.
Let me say my piece before you get. Not only did they kill Bryan Cranston off, maybe like 30, 40 minutes into the movie, they killed Juliette Binoche off in like the first 5 minutes, and that's the one that got me. That was,
It was
the one that got
lame.
me.
And then they left us with
It's like so
With
when they killed Drew Barrymore in the first 5 minutes of Scream, did you hate that or did you? I thought it was cool. I was like, oh shit, because
I could buy that if that was supposed to be his motivation now for figuring out a way to stop the monsters. But instead, it just got him killed, and then his son, who got dragged into it and didn't want to do it, now he's helping them because
I thought it was beautiful.
reasons.
No, I'll give you.
What
the
is his
reason why.
exact motivation?
Okay,
Is
you
it
know what?
because
No,
his dad is
time out.
gonna-
Time out. We're talking about the wrong movie. We need to remove that. Review that movie separately. Let's get back to Kong.
Because we're only a quarter of the way through this.
And we're doing better than usual.
No, I know, but it's quarter.
I'm working. I was like, so we get the dead eye Samuel L. Jackson staring down Kong while everybody's running. I mean, look at that. I don't know who's scarier, Kong or Samuel L. Jackson here. You know?
And you will know my name is the Lord.
And so then Kong kills a few more guys, and we get my second favorite shot in the film.
Oh, the twisting and pulling apart. Oh, that
No,
one.
the stare down.
Yeah.
Right here.
Right here. Oh my God, I love this. Yes.
Yeah.
Get a couple more seconds. Here we go.
Yeah, right.
Boom. Right there.
And it's like, I don't know which one of those two is scarier.
Yeah.
That's
God.
you know.
That's such a good shot.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
And so the and Ariel,
You can't tell I love this movie. So
yeah, Ariel, the atomic breath is definitely a new take on it. I'm not going to give too much away, but whenever it goes off, it is scary.
So I read an article. It's not going to be available streaming in America until mid to late next year. So I'm probably going to see it this weekend since they've extended the view.
You got to go to and it's worth supporting because this is a relatively low budget film.
15 million. That's a very low budget film.
But it's really good. And I'm sorry. Look, nerds, listen to me. Hear me. We need to support good content. If we don't, they're going to give out more crap.
Especially good content that's made like no. If I'm a huge Kevin Smith fan, but 15 million is less than Kevin Smith spent on his last movie. You get what I'm saying? Like Hollywood's got too much bloat.
15 million is less than a rom-com nowadays.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's crazy. And from what I've heard, correct me because I haven't seen it. From what I've heard, it's not like they skimped on the special effects, right?
It looks great.
Okay.
He looks. I would say is the Godzilla made by Hollywood maybe a little more polished, sure, but this Godzilla looks really good. And
but is it worth what was the budget? Hold up, I had it up.
We're 10 times the budget. No.
Yeah, the budget for Godzilla 2014 was 160 million. That's 100 times the budget, bro. That's crazy.
No, that's 10. That's 10.
Is it just 10? Okay. I suck at math. Yeah. 10
but
times.
Not only is it 10 times, that's 10 times in real dollars. You got to account for inflation because that Godzilla 2014, that's a decade ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
So, anyway. Yeah. So then we got everybody's crashed trying to figure out what the heck just happened.
So we have no idea how much time has passed here.
So you're saying that he's already at this point.
At this point, John Goodman's already gone through that stuff we see in Monarch.
All right. So when is the first? It's the Samuel L. Jackson. He comes in and he just finds him sitting there.
Yeah, he comes and hugs everybody. It's like, hey, I've been looking for you guys. Like time, like it looks like it's the next day. It looks like it's the next morning. That's and he's sitting there, and he's got the bandage on his hand that he didn't have before. He doesn't have his camcorder, and he's just, and
Well,
in the scene they're about to have where he talks to him about like, yeah, there are monsters, and he just, I don't know, I think it fits perfect. I think between the last scene we saw him in and this scene now is when that scene in Monarch episode 1 happens.
and he just happened to run through the same woods and encounter the same spider that they're about to encounter.
Well, it's not the same
No,
one.
it's
'cause
not the
that
same
spider
one.
gets dumped into the ocean.
Yeah, there's more than one of these types of creatures, man. Come on, we see a bunch of the lizardy ones. Remember, because Kong is fighting 2 or 3 of them later in the movie at the same
Right.
time.
Yeah.
Should arrive at 6:31. All right. Just I got a text message that my groceries are on their way.
This is why I keep trying to sprinkle in Monarch, because I don't even know if we're going to get to the review proper of episode 1 at this point.
Well, okay, we already know what happens here. So, uh, that now they're scattered about the island, and here we see the giant water buffalo. A lot of meat on that, man. Could you imagine if you could crossbreed that with a regular cow? The prime rib you could get off of that, dude.
Dear God, man.
Feed the world.
I mean, think about, and this is the problem. They don't go there, but they should. That creature on its own could end world hunger. If you bred that in captivity, because that is a
Feed the
herbivore creature. It's not dangerous.
Make it
You
a
just have,
better
and if they could create a pen that kept Kong under control,
you and for me
will you
and
shut up for a
the
minute?
entire human race. Oh, I was doing the Feed the World song, man. That's what you just said. I'm
But
sorry.
think about it. If you captured a few of these, you brought them to the mainland, you built a ranch that could contain them, and you started breeding these things for food, you would solve world hunger. You would have
Yeah, make it a better place. Oh yeah. I'm sorry. I got in trouble. I think, like, I pissed Alex off last time he and I were on a show together in Salty Nerd because I started trying to be funny and sing. And he like sends me a text. He's like, "Bro, stop fucking singing on my show."
All right, so then they're walking through the bamboo, and this is where the second worst death in the movie.
Oh my God, I hate this one. Oh,
Yeah.
oh God, yeah, this one's. Oh God, no.
Where they're just like, hey, the bamboo looks
He
kind
just,
of...
yeah, minding his own business, drinking water, and now,
Shish kebab.
oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what? Oh no. Oh, don't pause on
Yeah.
it. Come on, man. Keep going. Keep going. That gives the term deep throat a whole new meaning. Oh my God.
Yeah, he's not telling any secrets either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then the spider thing starts, grabbing this guy, I guess, for a snack.
And they start cutting its legs off. And
Every time they show Samuel Jackson's eyes, I get nervous.
yeah,
It
it's
just,
like they just said, Sam, just look into the camera like someone killed your dog.
yeah.
Oh my God.
All right, so then we get to meet the native people who have been on this island surrounded by a perpetual hurricane for hundreds of years and then mysteriously get killed by a storm sometime in the next 20 years, except for one little girl.
Yeah.
No, it's way more than 20 years. This is 73, and that takes
so
place in
40 years.
20.
Yeah, it's like 40
16
years
or
later.
17.
Almost,
Yeah, it's like 40 years later. Yeah.
Either way, this is one of my.
Oh, and I bet one
favorite-
of the times you cried was when you saw John C. Reilly come home, huh?
Oh, at the end?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, man.
And he is the heart and soul of the movie.
He really is.
Yeah.
And I love, he's actually about to say, "You look more beautiful than a
hot dog,
beer in a
and
beer
at Wrigley Stadium.
At Wrigley Stadium.
Yeah, on opening day.
Opening day. But you're real, right? You're real, right?
Oh, he sells that character so well.
Right.
Yeah.
I love it when they bump into all the guys in a little bit, and he's like, "You look like you're a fine bunch of guys."
Yeah, probably good guys to die with.
Yeah.
He's been here for 30 years.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, yeah.
that's just crazy.
I know sometimes you get paranoid when I turn off my camera. I'm just going to stand up to refill my soda. I'll be right back. But I'm still here. I'm listening. Or I could do it on camera.
Yeah.
Soda.
So they didn't die from a possible disease, and they're covering it up with the storm. Yeah, that could be it.
Yeah.
It was an inside job.
They killed the indigenous people so they could take Kong away easier to their holodeck. That's what it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
To the Thunderdome.
Yeah.
To the Thunderdome.
Oh, and this is another scene. I like the scene, but they screw up the little stuff here. Like, this is great to get the sense of scale with Kong as he walks in, but that would have caused a tsunami on his end of it in a few minutes.
It would,
yeah.
there would have been, yeah. But
And we never get it.
as someone who enjoys sushi, in a few minutes, I love how Kong just eats that thing. Like, it was so good. The little octopus thing
Yeah.
coming up.
Yeah, he just
He
wrecks that.
Yeah, and then he drags it with him. It's like, I'm saving you for later. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, good line. You probably noticed a lot of weird things on this island.
You don't say.
So he introduces them to the indigenous people that live at harmony with everybody. He's like talking about how awesome they are because they're communists. And he does say that he doesn't use the C word, but he says they don't have personal possessions and all that. But so yeah, they're communists.
I mean, I guess.
They are. They're living on a commune. They are literal communists.
They have the most finite resources imaginable, so yeah.
Yeah. I mean, given their tribal lifestyle, it makes sense. Don't get me wrong.
Ariel. Yeah, that could be it.
Oh, so the Soviet Union got to him first.
Yeah.
The Reds got there first. And by the way, also I gotta say, as much as I love John C. Reilly's character, you can't tell me that jacket and those pants would be in that good a shape after 30 years.
Maybe he only put them on because they were coming to dinner.
He literally said, "No, that's a line." He literally said, "I even put on the old uniform, for the occasion."
He wouldn't be able to get that jacket around his gut.
Probably that might be. Maybe that's why it's not zipped up all the way. I do that trick sometimes.
Costume department. Lack of
I mean, I get it. It wouldn't look good to
That's
have
it.
him in rags, but at the same time,
Yeah.
Maybe if they had him crash in the Korean War.
So clearly your score is an FU out of 10 on it then now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Might as well just skip to it. So been here since '44. Yeah, and they're talking about there's the old ship that's been wrecked there that they use as kind of a temple to Kong, which is cool, but also kind of illogical. Because they've been there for a lot longer than that ship. So why do they turn the ship into a Kong thing?
Hey, one of my God, this sucks. One of my roommates or housemates has hit me up. I'll be right back. Sorry.
All right.
Elderly emergency. I'll be right back.
No problem. So this is where we get the little backstory on the skull crawlers.
Yeah.
Um,
Hey, I love his whole, it sounded good in my head. No, it
yeah,
sounded
but now
bad
it
that I
sounds
said it
horrible.
loud.
Forget I said it.
Yeah.
I call them skull crawlers.
Well, actually a very good name.
Yeah. I call them skull crawlers. And he's like, why? Because it sounds neat. But it's funny because they do have kind of an exposed skull and they crawl, so it makes perfect sense.
Yeah. They have a tail for a butt.
Right. There's one right there. So yeah, if you look at its face is a skull, and it kind of crawls. So I don't have a problem. And so we get to see one fighting Kong as he's telling the story of how Kong protects the people from the skull crawlers, but there's the big skull crawler that killed Kong's family. And that's why Kong is the last of his kind. Until we find out in Orange Kong versus Pink Godzilla that there's dozens of them.
Well, forget about that. I mean, we know that the Hollow Earth has a
Yeah, he's
has
from the
one
Hollow
too.
Earth where he has a magic axe and a throne.
Yeah. So, hey, as
Because
long as you
he's
keep the
Thor.
movies, yeah, as long as they keep the movies fun and they're honest with themselves in the production of what it is that they're making,
Right.
I will enjoy
I just
myself regardless.
To me though, it's just the magic axe and now the pink hair and stuff. It's just getting a little goofy. And I like this movie's tone. This movie feels real. Godzilla 2014, while I did gripe that they didn't show Godzilla enough, I had the same feeling about that movie. It felt like Godzilla was in the real world. This feels like Kong is in the real world. But, Orange Kong versus Pink Godzilla looks absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, I love this when he shoots the tree
Oh, and the tree's full
of the freaking razor bird things,
yeah.
and it's like, whoops.
So they're still trying now. So then he shows him what he and the kamikaze or the kamikaze, the Zero pilot were
Yeah.
building a power boat out of their airplanes to try and get
Yeah.
off the island, but
Plus a crashed bomber's hull that
yeah.
was left. Yeah.
Um,
Plus a crashed bomber's.
Hello.
well, yeah. Hey,
No, sorry. I was listening while I was away. So, two little comments I wanted to make on something you guys said, and they're okay. I just had to yell at them. I was like, I'm on a show anyway. You said like the orange. You're talking about the orange versus the pink. Doesn't that remind you of the Hillary hats versus the Trump thing in a weird
that's
way?
what I'm saying. It's just orange represents Trump. Obviously, pink is I'm sure some liberal thing.
Well, don't you remember like the Hillary? They had
Yeah.
those beanies, those pink beanies. I want to say,
Yeah.
right around the time
Yeah,
they
yeah.
made this.
Yeah.
But anyway, and then damn, there was another comment. Anyway, if I remember it, I'll say it later. There was something.
And
else
look,
that I said.
Bree's smiling.
Not just smiling. There's a shot here. That looks hilarious. Google eyes. Google eyes. She even gets laughing enough that she actually gets smile lines in
Yeah.
the corners of her eyes. So
Yeah, so yes, Bree can show emotion.
Yeah.
So then she finds one of the giant cows trapped under a helicopter.
This is the scene I was talking about earlier, where she looks like itty bitty bitty. Compared to
Like right here, she's like, okay, I'm Captain Marvel, so I can pick this up.
She doesn't become Captain Marvel, for the record, for another like 5 years after this.
Yeah, I
movie.
know, but that,
Well, like 3 years. Sorry, 3 years. Yeah.
but I'm just saying she should be like, I'm Captain Marvel, so I can pick this up, because who thinks they can pick up? I understand that is it's lighter than you would think because it's hollow and
it's aluminum.
You're right, but look at her. She is not picking up a helicopter tail by herself.
No.
Nope. And again, I know that on the one hand, it's true that yes, they're making her out to be the good savior liberal type, but if you look at the characters, I think that's realistic for her character.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, and
her motivations line up exactly with what she does on screen. There's
Right.
no inconsistency with her character,
Good
regardless
Lord,
of
yeah.
Okay, so right here you get a shot. You can see her standing in between Kong's legs.
So yeah, so he's not as big
Imagine
as
her
the.
view from right there. That's got to be ugly.
Yeah.
I'm just.
But he's
saying-
even bigger in the next movie we see him in. It's a crazy thing.
Right.
He's even bigger.
Yeah, because Godzilla would actually be probably close to double that size. So if you think about, imagine and remember in Godzilla 2014 when you see Godzilla's foot come down at the airport terminal. Compare that to Kong's feet here.
Yeah.
All right, so Godzilla is probably double this size, and so
Yeah.
he's got to grow.
She is only 5'6", so
Yeah.
she needs to grow.
So now we find out that Samuel Jackson wants to just like put everybody in danger so that they can try to kill Kong, while everybody else just wants to get the F off the island.
I'm telling you, it's that Captain Ahab thing, man.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
Well, and his motivations are clear. He lost a bunch of men, and so
Well, in that scene earlier
yeah.
with John Goodman, the one where I was pointing out, he said, like, John Goodman's like, look, I just need you to get back to Washington with enough proof so they'll send the cavalry. And he goes, I am the cavalry.
Right.
Like, so, like, right then and there, he made his declaration of intent. I'm killing this guy.
Right.
I'm dying trying,
Yeah.
And at that point, you should be nervous for Kong. So then they have a fun little talk about how he's so out of time, that he doesn't know anything.
Talking about World Series and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Yeah. And this poor
I love
bastard.
the whole. They put a man on the moon. What do they do? Leave him there?
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
he eat?
Yeah, Tang. All right, so he fights a giant grasshopper, and he's like, "Wow, that was something." But then
And then,
he's
this
like,
sucks.
"Oh, hi,
What did
Yeah.
they call these guys again? These little nasty.
skull crawlers."
That's what I was going to mention. Millie Bobby Brown, her character refers to in the Godzilla versus Kong movie when they get trapped in that thing that goes
they
over
use
to Hong Kong. She says, what are they doing with skull crawlers? Like, so, like, the name stuck, apparently.
Yeah, well.
Because she called it that.
But that would be one of the very few references that crosses the franchise. Other than Kong, there's not much of this movie that ends up in the other movies.
No.
Oh, you'd be wrong, man. I've rewatched them all. I should take more notes because that's just one of them. There are ship references, like when he sits down.
There should be characters that are there. Like, I think it would be so cool if what should have happened is like, oh no, there's a giant gorilla. What are we gonna do? And then you have like coming out of the shadows, Samuel L. Jackson or something. Going, I've dealt with him before. That.
But it's impossible he gets killed in this movie.
I know.
But a character from this movie.
Yeah.
Although I would love to see them find a way to get John C. Reilly into one more, either an episode of Monarch or into another movie.
I could see him being in Monarch. I wouldn't be.
I mean, that's the only thing. Because I mean, at the end of this movie, he's home. He's checked out. He gets to, he's with his wife.
Yeah, but they could go back to his house and ask him some questions.
Yeah, they could do something.
Yeah, they could do
something cute, just as a bit of a.
But it would only work in the TV show, in my opinion. Like, I don't think.
I agree. Yeah.
And so they're watching the aurora and talking about how beautiful everything is. Blah blah blah.
In one place they're thinking how beautiful it is, in another Sam Jackson is calculating
how to kill. Yeah. So they leave the village, and of course we all know all these people are about to die because of rain.
40 years later, not about to. 40 years later.
Well, we don't. All we know is that they're all going to die except for a little girl.
30 to 40 years later.
And by the way, one thing I'll say is consistent: they don't talk either.
Yeah.
So, props for that, because I forgot about that. I was wondering why the little girl was a mute, and I forgot that everybody in the tribe was.
Yeah.
I absolutely forgot that. And if you're ever in Chicago, look me up. So they go on their adventure to try and get off the island. Oh, look at that!
Yeah, it's a ton of emotion.
Brie Larson smiling, everybody,
and like proper smiling.
I feel like Marvel ruined her. I really do.
Yeah,
Marvel just ruined her.
No, it wasn't Marvel that ruined her. It's the director of Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
And she kind of, unfortunately, Brie, the person, didn't help herself by making stupid comments.
Yeah.
And here's this guy's.
That sucks for you, bro.
Those little bird saw dinosaur bird things.
Yeah.
They give me little nostalgia vibes off of the crazy all I do is hunt sounds creatures from Pitch Black.
Oh yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
All right, so then they're going through the graveyard to get to the sea stallion that apparently has enough weaponry to take Kong out,
And find their man.
yeah, and then they run into action scene 17A with a couple of skull crawlers, the one that eats John Goodman.
Yeah, that's
which was that was a waste.
They should, that hindsight being 2020, they didn't need to do that.
Yeah, they shouldn't kill him. Or at least if you're gonna kill him, give his death a meaning, not just a oh crap and then bam.
Like, oh yeah.
He totally. It was like.
Here it is. Oh shit! Boom.
Yeah. Zoop.
And then if that's not bad enough, we have to cut to this where we get to see him getting chewed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
John Goodman, ladies and gentlemen, John Goodman.
And the flash is so powerful on the camera that
you
it
see it
keeps
going
in his
throat.
belly.
Yeah, right there you see the flash. There, all you see is outline there.
Yeah, that's terrible.
He's taking selfies as he's being swallowed. It'd be great to find that footage. They should do that in an episode of Monarch where they find that camera and some dino poop, and then
you couldn't develop that film. That's something. That's a problem I have later in this movie. Brie Larson's camera gets completely submerged in water. It's an old school 1970s 35 millimeter. All that film would have been ruined. None of those pictures would have come out.
It depends on the camera, though. If the camera was designed for rugged travel, it could be watertight. She's a field photographer. She's
All right. Fair enough.
And as long as it wasn't exposed to light, even though the images would look kind of ragged out, you could still develop them.
Yeah, I developed film that was like about 10 years old once. I mean, the pictures were crap, but you could see them.
You could still tell what was in them.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like all the way in its belly and still taking pictures of himself.
Yeah.
I want to see those pictures. Dang it! We didn't get to see John Goodman's final pictures. So, and here John C. Reilly actually cuts one of the skull crushers with his sword.
Yeah.
And then we get this Tom Hiddleston, total badass.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I'm saying he needs to be a leading man as someone other than Loki. I really enjoyed him in this movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, this was Tom Hiddleston's shining moment probably for the film, as he gets to dice everybody up.
And Ariel, Bryan Cranston and John Goodman. Like, no offense to Bryan Cranston, whom I love, but John Goodman's a GD national treasure. Come on, man. There's no comparison there. You gotta.
Have you not seen John Goodman as Linda Tripp?
Oh my God, Ariel, that's a great idea. What do you guys think? He'd make a good James Bond, wouldn't he?
Who?
Oh yeah, I could see him.
Tom Hiddleston.
I
could totally.
I could see him being Bond.
That's a great call, Ariel. Yeah, I could totally see him being James Bond. Yeah. Somebody get that trending on Twitter.
Yeah, he would be a good follow-up after Daniel Craig too, because he could do that kind of intense action that Craig brought into Bond.
Yeah.
But the slightly slighter build that has the Pierce Brosnan effect as well.
Well, yes,
and the brown hair. You know what I mean?
Proper British sound to him. So
yeah.
Where Daniel Craig, you can tell he's English, but he's not like uptight English like Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah, exactly.
And he really should be. I'm sorry, but Bond should sound upper class.
Damn, that's a good call. Yeah. It's gonna bug me because it's not gonna happen. But yeah.
So now they're still trying to get off the island. I mean, this is most of the movie is them just trying to get off the freaking island.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then of course they encounter the big one here with the.
Yeah. And yeah, there's a nice shot of Kong right there against the
Yeah.
moon. They do a great job. They like putting shots of Kong with big things behind him. There's Samuel Jackson again.
Again, just
But,
facing down the flames.
yeah,
Yeah, look at that.
with the look of a pure psycho on his face.
His death scene's hilarious. He's about to
Yeah.
drop his MF, but he doesn't get the F part out.
Yeah.
Whack!
Yeah. Splatter matter. Yeah, it's when
Was it this scene that he dies, or
no,
No, I
it's-
don't.
it's
No,
when
no, it's
he's-
later. It's
Yeah,
later.
Sam is staring at, or Sam's character is staring at the skull crawler, and he's about to hit the go button on all the explosives, and Kong stares at him and just goes smush.
okay,
Yeah,
which was
This scene was coming up was a bummer because the guy was going to sacrifice himself to save his friends, but the
that
dude
was
just
so bad. I hated that.
he
That was
whipped
probably
he
the
whipped him with his tail, so his death was meaningless. That just
Yeah.
bothered me. You know,
it was annoying, but at the same time, it was like it sort of made me laugh when I rewatched it this week.
Well, I get it was kind of played for laughs, but the problem is I think there wasn't enough time with that character beforehand for you to want to see something like you remember
damn. Even Ariel says it was funny. Okay,
Gorman. Think about Gorman from Aliens, the lieutenant. And when he blows himself up to get the aliens, that was a redemption moment for him. Because,
Yeah, in the vent with Vasquez. Yeah,
yeah, because he was a dick the whole time, and then you get that. This guy's death just felt completely hollow.
it really did. Yeah.
yeah. In
Okay,
that light,
okay. Here
it
we go.
does,
Oh, hold
but-
up.
Yeah,
She looks like a GI Joe figure in his. No, actually, even smaller.
Yeah, 'cause she doesn't
that's why it's
quite
Green
make
Army
it
Man.
across the pan.
She look, yeah, a little
Long.
green army man. Yeah. She's
Yeah.
she's teeny tiny, itty bitty,
Yeah.
little itty bitty.
Tiny Bree.
but as always with Kong, there's a little bit of bestiality involved. I never understood that with King Kong, but and
He
then
always
we
likes the young pretty ladies.
there we go, and then we got
Yeah, and then he gets to go home.
John C. Riley coming home, seeing. You know,
I actually kind of thought this was weird
seeing his
because
son.
I'm like,
That's his
well,
first time he's seen his son.
the camera angles. Why would there be? So they cut to like there's a camera inside the house looking out at him in a second.
Yeah, I know.
I think that it was just all artistic choice. To be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's 8mm.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's all shot on period style cameras that you'd have if
Yeah.
I think it was I really think it's more artistic and not necessarily.
You really did
intended to
skip a lot
mean-
toward the end there. We didn't even get
Well,
to
we
see
have a
Samuel
lot-
get smashed.
That's all right. All right.
No,
so
I
then,
know,
yeah,
but we.
so then with the final scene is Bree and Tom Hiddleston being interrogated by Monarch. Bree and Tom Hiddleston should have been in the Godzilla movies.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I don't
too
know
much
how you
time had
fit it in,
passed.
but
yeah.
Hey, you know what? That maybe because they know too much, they freeze them.
Okay. You're going way. No, what they should have done
Hey,
was
come on.
made.
They have freaking pink-haired Godzilla in the next movie. They could freeze these guys and wake them up.
Yeah.
Hey, look, if they can do it for the
No,
spot.
Ariel, that package. He wasn't holding a package when he got ate. He was holding a camera. We were talking about that. That's why all
Yeah.
the flashes were going off inside the body
Yeah.
when he was being eaten.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought
All
I
right.
didn't disturb.
So, Danny,
Yeah.
Oh,
Skull Island.
you're using the Puco counter for
That's
this?
our official counter.
Oh.
Is that it now? So I want to stay consistent because I had it originally rated this as
No point fives, by the way.
as an 8 out of 10. And then I went back and I changed it to 85% out of 100, which is 8.5. So if you're not going to let me do that,
You have to do
0.5.
whole numbers.
Damn it.
Either 8 or 9. 85 would technically round up to 9.
Now I'm going to do 9. I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10. Yeah. Please, why are you
A
doing that?
9 out of 10 for Danny. Jason.
You know I'm getting over being sick. I don't. This is the worst thing you can show me.
So, Jason,
I am an 8.
Okay.
Blur.
So yeah, I'm. Originally I probably gave this movie a 7. I didn't actually do a review. I don't think I did a formal review ever. But now I'm gonna say 8. It's a strong 8. So like it would almost be an 8.5, but not quite.
Well, you said we could do 0.5s, but we got 8, 8, and 9. So whatever that comes out to.
Well, it'd be 8.5 would be the average. So like
Okay.
that's why I see the puke is halfway out.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
So that's an 8.5 right there. So 8.5 is the official.
I forgot I could do that. By the way. Anyway.
Oh, highlight the comments.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are supposed to be doing that because I'm busy handling.
Yeah. No, I
You're
just
doing
remembered.
video and
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
supposed to.
Yeah.
I
I'm on it.
research Danny's commentary.
Yeah, see, you're the comment.
There we go.
Jason's the research department. I'm the video department.
Gotcha. All right.
So actually pretty strong for everybody.
So the official Salty Trekker podcast show score
Nerd
is
Fights is the name of the show.
Nerd Fights score is 8.5,
8.5 would be the
which is exactly what I gave it on Criticless. Yeah, I'm happy.
Which that's something Jason and I were talking about.
You were away from the.
Yeah,
From the
we were talking about, and this might be something like you may want to help us with because Jason and I know nothing about it, but we could set up a Nerd Fights Criticless page.
We can. No, yeah. It's called a
Right,
community.
but we'll put all of our official, like anytime we review a movie, we'll put our score and a quick summary of it, and if you can, a link to that.
Yeah, you can do links. Yeah,
Right.
I would love that. Yeah, after the
Yeah, we
show.
should
We'll,
So like for Kong would be the first one. We would
Yeah.
put the 85%. Is it percentage? Everybody has.
they do a 100% scale.
Right.
So
So 85% would be the score, and then a brief thing about, hey, we all enjoyed it. Although you could put that, we definitely nitpicked the crap out of the fact that samurai swords were cut through fingers, and there's way too many helicopters.
Way too many helicopters.
But overall, we all enjoyed the film a lot. If you
Too
want,
many damn helicopters up in this damn ship.
yeah,
You know what's funny is put your real quick, Jay. Yeah, that I love it. It's perfectly placed. He's just like
Yeah, hold on, guys.
All right, you can come back.
All right, so moving
My
on.
nose duties here.
All right, so we have the inaugural episode of Monarch.
Monarch, Legacy of
So-
Monsters.
Danny, hot take on Monarch.
I feel like I like this show.
Only the first episode. Don't talk about what comes later.
Okay, sheet. Can you help me remember how the first episode ends so I don't go
With the
beyond
girl
that?
getting swallowed by ticks.
Oh, where she's reaching up and why? Okay. Height of suspense. Couldn't wait to see the next episode. I really I like this way more than most people. Again, this show inspired me to go back and not only watch the other 4 movies, but to watch 2 of them twice on top. So I love it, and I don't think this has ever been done in Hollywood before. Kurt Russell and Wyatt Russell are playing the same character over the span of like 50, 60 years. And I've seen Wyatt Russell. He was the U.S. agent in Captain or what was it called, Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to be
He's
in
pretty
Thunderbolts.
good. He's going to be in the upcoming film, The Thunderbolts.
Yes, he's going to be in Thunderbolts as the same character, but he was his own person. So it's almost like he's doing an impersonation of his father in this show, and I know you haven't seen.
And he nails it. He does a great job.
He does a great job. I love it. I highly recommend it. If you want to wait to binge it, I couldn't blame you because I wish they would have just released it all at once. But yeah,
So, Jason, episode 1, which for you is the only one you've seen.
I don't know. I don't. My hot take is I don't know because I need
That's
to
fair.
rewatch the episode again. I don't know, just for
Oh,
whatever
it's
reason.
on my server. You can
No,
watch.
I know, and I plan to watch it again before we actually get into watching more of the episodes of the season.
And episode 5 drops tomorrow. So.
The
He's not watching episode 5. Shut up.
I just know that the problem for me on that day was we watched Burnham.
Dude, I literally had to rewatch that episode for tomorrow's show because I fell asleep watching it with you guys.
Oh, it's hilarious when you guys when you see me post it. If you're a Patreon, watch Danny as we're watching.
It's like no, I'm awake. I swear I'm awake. I'm here.
And I like Danny.
Dude, you're making me watch Discovery, a show you know I hate.
Awesome.
Hey, nobody likes it.
Yeah, we didn't say, hey, you're gonna watch this awesome show. All right, so
yeah, so for me, I got to watch.
You're undecided.
More. I don't know yet. Yeah,
it hasn't hooked you.
Well,
No.
which is fair. See, I might because again, Kurt Russell's not in that episode, so I'm like I have the
So
knowledge.
stop
of
talking about other stuff. We'll get to that.
I'm just
you are actually having the same issue with watching this show as I had trying to get people to start watching The Expanse after I got through the first 4 episodes of The Expanse.
Yeah, no, that makes
because people,
great sense.
it's the same kind of thing because people are
Yeah.
like, oh, the first episode's boring as all
Yeah.
get out. And then by the
Yeah.
time you finally figure out what's going on in the story with that show, you're in.
Right.
But right now I'm like episode 1 and I can't skip ahead because I can't. I literally can't.
Yeah, but we'll be doing episode 2 and 3 this weekend. So
Yeah.
Stanley, are you late? We're done. Yes, he's in the first episode. Oh, I guess we'll get to it again.
Yeah. So in fact, this video is shot by. This is the video he shot from the helicopter at the beginning of Kong.
At the beginning of Kong Skull Island.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the I'll say this for this show, I like it so far. I think Kurt and Wyatt Russell do a great job playing the same character, which I know you haven't seen yet, Jason, but they do nail that. I like that.
Wyatt, there are scenes where Wyatt sounds just like his dad. It
Right.
blows
But
my mind.
we're not talking about those scenes because this is only
You're
episode
later.
1.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
But in this episode, I can agree with Jason that this episode isn't a real strong hook. There's a couple of cool. You get a couple of shots of monsters that are cool, but you need a little more than that. And there are some contradictions to Kong Skull Island.
I disagree. I'm gonna sow those seeds for you as we go. I'm gonna help you see the light, brother. Oh yeah, let me tell you, I'm gonna help you see the light.
And I will show you how you are demonstrably wrong, and and it's just going to be.
Cream always rises to
I-
the top. Yeah.
This when it gets out of hand.
All right, so we see.
Yeah, this is straight out of Kong Skull
Yeah,
Island.
last time on King Kong,
Yeah.
we get some footage from Kong Skull Island that was basically turned into Super 8 footage via digital effects, and then we get
That's why this makes perfect sense. So what just happened? SmackDown. Helicopter crashes. He's out. He thinks he's going to die because he just survived a helicopter crash where he watched a bunch of other people just die, and he's talking to the camera.
That's not what I'm talking about as far as the contradictions. But besides, granted, I don't see John Goodman's character as being able to survive on his own fight against monsters. But fine,
He didn't. He got lucky. Some sea creature came out and killed him.
I know. I've seen the episode.
Okay, sorry.
I will say this though. I did let it play. I'm just letting it play without the audio from the Plex box. And watching that whole scene play out, the lighting, the spindly bamboo jungle, the fact that they probably all crashed. It's plausible enough for me that they crashed in just the right spot, that he was close enough to that water, and of course Skull Island might be, not little, but it's craggly all over the place.
Right.
Yeah. And I love how they. Or go ahead. Sorry.
And I think there was enough time that he would that would have let him eventually, catch back up.
Right.
Thank you.
I can accept it. This is not too hard.
I'm not gonna say it's too bad as far as him, even though I don't buy it.
I don't think it's a retcon. I think it fits, man. I really do. I think it fits.
I just, yeah. I don't
Look at his
know.
hand. Look at his hand. He's got the bandaged hand. So
Yeah.
we know this is after the crash. This is like,
Well, it had to be after the crash. He's on the ground.
yeah, but it's before he meets up with Samuel L. in that other scene, because that's the first time in the movie you see him with a bandaged hand. So like,
Because it could be after that.
no, it's not after that. There's no, they don't get separated after that.
No, they stay together the whole time.
They stay together the whole
We
time.
never see John Goodman separated from people. That's
We
the
do,
problem.
because he wasn't on the same helicopter as Samuel L.
No,
Jackson.
we see Samuel L. Jackson separated. We don't see John Goodman separated. He was with a bunch of other soldiers.
Who all died.
No.
No, and Samuel L. Jackson shows up and hugs everybody.
No. We don't see Randa with any of the soldiers until we see him talk to Sam Jackson.
Well, that's the first time we actually see him, is him sitting on the box.
Correct.
Yeah,
But
that's
it's
why
not like he just teleported there.
I think this fits, man. I really think this fits.
I'm not even arguing about that. You're trying to make a fight
right.
out of something that there's no fight on.
So
Well, it's called Nerd Fights. Fight me, bro. Fight me.
So because I'm missing information, I'm at a disadvantage to the both of you. So where is the discontinuity kick in more for you on this, Mike?
Although he does look so much older there. I'm sorry.
yeah,
I know they did their best by making it look kind of.
I read an article, like he almost didn't do. He's got health problems apparently. That's why he looks like this.
Yeah.
And
He's also freaking ancient now.
Well, and he's always had weight control issues too.
Yeah.
So
well, I mean, I think he looks great here, but no, he's got health issues, some
thinner.
serious health issues. Yeah.
But anyway, here's the big discontinuity, and I don't remember. This is the problem. I'm not 100% sure if it's in this episode or not. But in Kong, John Goodman makes a big deal out of, we need, everybody called me a crackpot. Nobody believes me. We need to bring proof. Of these monsters. In Monarch, we find out they had proof in the 1950s.
Monarch had proof they were an independent. They were independent from the government. That was the problem.
But
And they addressed that. They addressed it at the beginning of Kong when he goes.
Monarch. He is the freaking boss of Monarch.
I don't think he was the boss. I don't think he's the boss of Monarch.
Look, I know, and I'm sorry, Jason. It's not episode 1, but Randa and
No. You wouldn't let me do it. Why do you get to do it? No.
Well, I'm just saying.
Follow your own rules.
Way he could have just gone to the senator and said, "Hey, check out the footage we have of this giant monster. Hey, check out the giant footprint that we have here that we took a casting of."
Okay.
I would say that in 2015, when this was written, that
obviously there was no intent for a series.
They had no idea that the series was going to be a thing.
Right. Yeah. But the problem,
I love it though. I love the connective tissue. And it's something that's always.
Right. But the problem is his whole motivation for being on this island is to prove that monsters exist.
No, his whole motivation was he wanted a military escort to prove monsters existed, because the government didn't take hold up. The government didn't take Monarch seriously. They accused him of all being crackpot mad scientists. So he wanted respected colonels, and captains and lieutenants and people like that to go back to Washington and be like, "Hey, man, I've seen some shit that would turn you white.
And
they are real."
And
they are real.
And you say that, but here's the funny thing. So you say that he has to have that military escort so that they can show the proof, because the military there, they'll vouch for him. And Monarch was founded by a freaking military guy. Wyatt is in the army.
But why? But he wasn't. He wasn't. He didn't even want the. I know, which we're getting into. He didn't even, when we get there, he didn't want that job. The guy even was like acting like it was a punishment. No, so he didn't found it. He just got thrown into
Oh,
it.
and look, all of his footage and stuff was found in 1973. Isn't that convenient? All right, so they find it on a fishing boat. We get credits, even though there's no way that thing would ever be found. It would never get past the perpetual storms on the island. But hey, magic.
Convenient
There's a reason
water.
he's called the salty trekker, folks. There's a reason.
So she's looking at something that's mostly in Japanese, but we find out her father recently died.
Her father was clearly the guy on the boat.
Right? Yeah.
Was he though? No. Was he though?
No, all we know is her
Because
father.
because the odds of that are astronomical.
No.
Because
All we really
her father's Randa's son, John Goodman's son, is the one that
we're not sure on that, and now you're getting into heavy spoilers.
This is John Goodman's granddaughter.
Right.
Is this not in the first episode?
Stop!
Sorry. Okay, sorry.
Wow, this
sorry.
is super not in this episode.
I'm
Yeah.
so sorry. I'm sorry.
And by the way, even that's still a theory.
No, it's not. Never mind. Okay.
And let me get to it, and then I can start picking it apart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Danny,
So,
I'm trying to let Jason have some kind of mystery as he goes.
Okay, I'm sorry, man. It's hard. It's hard when you watch.
That's why I told you don't watch episode 5. Just hold off for a couple of weeks because we'll be caught up soon. We're going to watch 2 episodes this week, 2 episodes next week, and then we'll be caught up.
All right.
We're almost caught up.
Yeah.
It'll be close.
We'll be like 1 episode behind. After.
How many episodes are there in this series?
5. The 5th episode. Oh, you mean total?
No, total. I think there's 10. I'll look it up. I think it's 10. I want to say
10. Yeah, there's 10 episodes.
Is it 10? Okay, yeah. I knew it
and
was
they
8.
and they're releasing them every single Friday, including
every Friday,
including over the holidays.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Which is going to make it the holiday week. We got to figure out what we're going to do because What If comes out that week too.
Here's the thing: I want to redo our Violent Night review without you putting so much footage in it gets copyright claimed because I love that movie and I'm so mad that that review is not out there for the world. Kind of like my Witches of Eastwick. It's not.
I don't know. Well, I don't know what Jason's schedule is like, but we
I don't know. We gotta. There's some.
We should do a doubleheader: Violent Night and Silent Night. That new movie, Silent Night, with Joel Kinnaman, because it's kind of the same thing, the John Woo movie. We should do both of those.
I've seen the poster art for it.
I have. Yeah, I haven't seen that one, and I'm probably not going to.
But, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So
Violent Night though was freaking awesome. We could do a Violent Night but we'd have to figure out a way to work that in over the Christmas weekend.
Yeah, I'm down. I got no Christmas plans.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about that when we're not broadcasting.
Yeah, we'll do the production.
Production notes are for Saturday morning.
Production meeting time.
Yeah, that's
fair enough.
Yeah, that's why it's best not to wait till the last minute to show up for that.
Sorry.
You did great this last weekend, but try to do that again. The earlier, the better. But don't fall asleep.
Look, man.
Well, hey,
during Discovery, no guarantees.
We'll be doing 2 episodes of this instead of Discovery.
Oh, thank God. Okay.
Not necessarily. We'll be doing 2 episodes of this and Discovery.
We might have to go back to doing Saturday and Sundays like we did in the past then, because that's a lot for one day.
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
All right. So anyway,
so production meeting over. They spray the plane she's on for the virus that shall not be named.
There's this insanely long lead in, and this is what made it dry for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's nothing that really starts to happen again until you get to like 13, 14 minutes into the episode.
Yeah, and then we get a really quick flashback that she was on the Golden Gate Bridge when Godzilla
so I can see like
or when the Mutos attacked San Francisco and Godzilla
in Godzilla 2014 in the this is one of the
that's the events of Godzilla 2014.
Yes. Okay.
They
are connecting tissue. That's what I'm saying.
Not saying this doesn't try to connect things. I'm just saying it contradicts some things, which it shouldn't. Like the whole, there's no proof of monsters when they clearly had proof. All right.
So
They get off the plane. By the way, my wife really loved the fact that there are Godzilla pictures on the ground with arrows pointing where to go in case Godzilla attacks.
If you go back and watch the movies, which I did, this shows up in the last two movies. These
Right.
these
Right,
scenes.
I know. And Japan's very good about civil defense and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, but this is also kind of a callback to the airport scene from Godzilla 2014.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but that gives her a little bit of flashback as well. When she gets to the customs lady, she explains that she is in Japan because her father passed away. She needs to basically wrap up his affairs.
She's there for family business.
Yeah. And so they scan her, take her fingerprints and all that, so that and I love the "I'm sorry for your loss," which is so typical of a government employee.
Yeah.
And yes, Ariel, in the movies, of course, there is the Godzilla Defense Force, which they are hilarious. If you watch any of the later Toho movies, up until this new one, they have the Godzilla Defense Force, which were like people with like spaceships and ray guns and stuff.
The GDF.
That fought Godzilla for a living, and they actually controlled Mechagodzilla. Mechagodzilla was part of the Godzilla Defense Force. Anyway, so she goes to Tokyo, and then this guy, what a
You know how much I love you guys?
what?
CM Punk is making his triumphant return to SmackDown, which started 10 minutes ago, and I don't care. I'm here with you guys having a good time.
You know what? I don't care either. We have that in common. All right, so this cab driver, complete.
But I do care. Just kidding. Yeah.
Talking about how.
Oh yeah, San Francisco was CG. Yeah.
It was, and the whole thing, and she was there, so
Yeah, and she's clearly got PTSD. I don't know. I can't remember if it's this episode or future ones, but it's going to come
don't
up.
say it. Just don't say it.
Okay.
If you're not sure.
Okay. Fair enough. You're right.
Yeah. All right. So, and if it is in this episode, we'll see it in a minute. So she finds where he had a mysterious key and an address, so she goes there.
This shit gets weird, and
and then we go to this really bizarre thing where it turns out that her father not only had a secret apartment in Japan, but had another wife, another kid. So she has a half brother living in Japan.
Not just that. Apparently, this family was the primary one because homeboy's like, I didn't even know he had a daughter.
Right. Yeah. Neither of them knew about each other.
Yeah.
So neither family.
No, I'm talking about.
That's another episode.
Yeah. Kurt Russell's not in this episode. Sorry.
Yeah. Stop, dude. Stop.
No, I didn't. I stopped myself.
Yeah,
he started to figure it out real quick.
Yeah. Sorry.
And so then they're like, who the heck are you? And I do like the fact that like they're showing that they're trying to say, who the heck are you? And she whips out her phone and shows pictures of her father and her on camping trips and stuff. And they're all like trying to figure out what the heck. I
really like the chick in that scene. The
mom.
The mom.
Yeah.
I like her as a character a lot.
Yeah, she does a good job.
Yeah. No, I just mean it. The character,
right.
Actress, whatever. It's foreign, so she could be great. She could be terrible. I wouldn't know the difference. But as far as the actual character,
right?
I like she could have been she was just so sweet and loving and motherly. When it would have been really easy for her to be like her son and just be like
a complete
yeah.
And you're right, Ariel. He just likes the MILF. That's all it is.
Oh well.
Why am I doing the chat? You're supposed to be doing the chat, Danny.
Look. Okay, sorry. Ariel, yeah, I mean, you remember my ex? She was a gilf. So.
Wow, dude.
I'll wind it back.
I'll wind it back
to MILF. I'll wind it back to MILF.
That was totally inappropriate.
Well, it only matched the inappropriateness of the comment that he brought up.
Yes. Actress, whatever. What do you mean, John Gill? Did I just... Isn't that...
Nah, I just don't think it translated into German.
All right, so... Kazakhstan. Man,
Kazakhstan, yes.
Kazakh, no,
Kazakhstan. It's
Kazakhstan.
Yeah,
no,
Kazakhstan.
yes,
Kazakh,
it is. It is
Kazakh-
Kazakhstan. That's a real place.
Kazakhstan.
Kazakhstan.
Oh,
is a real
Kazakhstan.
place.
Oh, thank you much, very much. I am about that. Is that Kazakhstan? That's the same one.
My sister
Kazakhstan.
is best escort in all of Kazakhstan.
In all of Kazakhstan.
1959. So we go back in time a little bit.
It would have been funny if Borat popped up.
Oh goodness.
Sorry. Come on. It was,
So
I didn't realize that was Kazakhstan when I watched this.
Right.
Is this, so.
yeah, so this guy is John Goodman.
Yes, as a young man.
And-
that's
and although-
that's Bill Randa.
Right, but although I think he was miscast because if you look at Wyatt and Kurt look like they're the same person.
Well, that's because
I know
father and
that's- I know
son.
that's
That's not
father-
fair. That's not
Yes,
fair.
it absolutely is fair because in that case they cast genius because they just happen to have a father and son that were both actors.
Who?
Here they could have tried to find someone that looks a little more like John Goodman, maybe someone with a couple more pounds on him.
Well, no, because to be fair, to be
I
fair.
understand people get fat over time.
Yeah, I mean,
got
hey,
fat.
bro, I recently did a deep dive on you. You used to be a lot skinnier.
That's really creepy sounding.
I'm just saying.
What the hell are you
want-
talking about? You did a deep dive on me.
I just wanted to make sure who I was getting into bed with when you're like, you
Whoa,
demand
whoa.
all these sacrifices of me. So I did my due diligence and I researched and I did a deep dive on the internet. And yeah, not too long ago, my friend, you were much, much skinnier. So it happens to us all. Just like me. If you find pictures of me from 5 years ago, I'm way I look frail. People were worried about me, thought I would accuse me of being on
Danny's
meth.
looking me up and for cyber stalking me apparently.
No.
You did a deep dive on me. What the hell is that?
It's called doing reconnaissance, man. I was
Reconnaissance for what? I'm not coming to your house.
If you really want to know the truth, I felt like you were being really demanding of me, and I was like, okay, who the F is this guy? I'm going to find out it's worth it. And it was. You passed. I didn't mean to bring this up. We're good.
I am who I say I am.
Yeah.
Except fatter.
Except fat. Me too. But I think we all are. I can guarantee all three of us can say in the last 5 years we've got.
I hate the fact that, and honestly, it's because I can barely move because of the MS, and so I'm not nearly as physically active as I want to be.
And that same with me with my hip, and I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, but your hips will get better.
No, exactly. So at the end of 2024, I best look like I did 5 years ago.
Here's the problem. I know exactly, and I know this is off topic a little bit, but there's a great piece of workout equipment that I can actually use, and I've used it when I was in physical therapy. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of like an exercycle, except it's in a reclining position. So you're sitting back and you're pedaling like you would with an exercise bike, but there's also hand cranks that you pedal, and so you get a full body workout. And the hand cranks and the foot cranks are independent of each other. So you can set the resistance for the hands to be different than the resistance for the feet, depending on where your strengths and weaknesses are. The problem is, and I looked it up, you can buy this thing, but it costs like $5,000. And so, yeah, if I had the $5,000, I would buy it. I honestly would, because I want to find some way to lose the weight. But I don't have $5,000 to spend. So what I'm saying, if any of you are rich and want to buy me a piece of workout equipment, send me a DM on Twitter. I'll send you the link to the equipment.
So I want to tell you something. It's God's honest truth. Might change your perspective on things, and maybe anybody else listening. So when I had my heart attack in 2016, and I had to, I was in the hospital for 4 days. I didn't have insurance at the time, so they wouldn't put a stent in.
Right.
And then I immediately applied for Obamacare, got health insurance, because like you either have to wait to open enrollment or until like some crazy life thing happens type of thing. Those are the two things. And I started going to this cardiologist, and then my main focus was like, hey, doctor, when can I go to the gym? When can I start working out? When can I do this? When can I do that? And he was like, why? And I said, because I want to lose weight. He's like, there are other ways. I was like, yeah, everybody says that. I need to be active. And he goes, Danny, if you just, let's just say, instead of having a heart attack, let's say you broke your arm. I was like, okay. He's like, would you want to start, doing, bicep curls the very next day?
Well, obviously not. But
Obviously not. And then he was like, in fact, would you want to do it a week or 2 or 3? He's like, that's like things take time to recover. You have to give your heart time to recover.
Right.
However, if you want to lose weight, if that's why you're asking me, he said, and he gave me this analogy. He said, what do you think would happen if you, in your current state, 380 pounds, fell into a coma and didn't wake up for 5 years? Do you think you'd be 380 pounds when you woke up? No. And all you did was lay there the whole time. He's like,
yeah, but you're also being fed intravenously. So.
Well, his thing is 80% of weight loss is diet. And it's true. It really is. It's just difficult. It's very, very difficult. But if you count your calories and make sure you only so for example, to lose the 200 pounds I lost, I could not take in more than 600 calories a day. That's less than my brain requires to function.
600 calories a day, though, is not healthy. That's
well, they say that, but when you're overweight, I mean, it's not healthy if you're physically fit. If you are morbidly obese, it's totally fine because your body has stored enough food to take care of that. And that's this is my doctor was very blunt about this.
Well, I'm not a big eater, honestly. You know what?
I'm not saying you are, but like
I typically here's my typical day of food. I might have either a bowl of cereal for breakfast or a bowl of soup for lunch. Not both, one or the other. Okay.
Both are like some of the worst stuff. Like you have to switch.
I just say that's why I can't afford to get lots of great organic food. And
No,
stuff
dude.
I can
protein.
Right.
That's
I have.
all you need to
Well, but you know what? Protein.
If
is
you just
also more
switch to a
expensive.
protein-only diet, I bet you. Okay.
Yeah. And you know what?
I'm doing it live right. No, hold up. I'm doing it live right here. It's cheaper.
It is not cheaper.
I'm talking bacon, chicken, eggs.
I know what protein is.
So if you just ate, but here's the thing: it's not just protein; it's the portion size. So you have to weigh it out.
I understand that.
No more than 4 ounces of protein. Whatever protein you want, nothing else. You do have to take daily supplements though, because your body does need other crap.
Because you're starving yourself.
Yes, but you're not, because again, you and I both have. I'd like to lose 30 pounds, so I've got at least 30 pounds, if not more, of excess body fat that my body can burn, and it's not malnourishing me or hurting me. Okay, so. But the problem is
we're talking about.
People don't realize how small a portion 4 ounces is.
Here's the exercise bike, by the way.
Oh, well, throw the link in the chat or give it to me and I'll do it.
Oh, you're going to buy it for me?
I'm not, but somebody in the chat might. Here you go, Stan Lee. He's got it. Low sugar, low carb, high protein.
Yes.
Amen.
Yes.
You do that.
You don't have to preach to me about how to diet. I understand that.
He just has to do it.
However, there are also and the problem is that and
Alex,
that's what it looks like.
Alex, I agree. However, I would just recommend to skip pizza altogether. But that's a good start.
Right. I think portions are very important. I do think as Americans, especially, we go out of control with that. But
anyways, we went way off track.
Yeah,
I don't know why we're talking that deep about it.
Anyway,
but somebody find me that exercise bike, and then I'll be happy.
Yeah, I don't want to super rush burning through this episode, but there isn't a whole lot that really goes on in it.
Right,
so.
right. So we find out that these 3 people, we got.
Well, this is the thing you can do with TV shows. None of this matters, like Jason said, because they're just giving us like building like the relationship between these 3, because we later find out their significance to each other and who they are.
Well, we do.
Which I can't say yet because Jason.
Well, what we do know is that
episode.
Randa and the girl. Do you remember what her name is? Gosh, that's driving me crazy.
They'll show it in a little bit. I don't.
Anyway, but Randa and the girl are obviously in a relationship.
Not well. Oh, see, they bounce around in time so much. At
Right,
this
and
point in
this
time, they are.
Believe
No,
it
at
or
this point in
not,
time, they are.
the
Yeah.
only reason why I know that they are is because the young girl goes to Tokyo.
Right.
Well,
It's
also,
not super obvious here.
Well,
in
no,
this
with
in
Randa
this
and
scene,
her,
Wyatt Russell says,
you two
he's-
make
he-
it work.
"Yeah, exactly." Then that's what gave it away to me.
Right.
But then they do so much time jumping, it gets
Right.
confusing. 'Cause,
Right here, he says, like he says, "Why don't you have a girl?" He says, "Never met the right woman." And he says, "Got to give it to you guys. You make it look easy raising a great kid together." So we
Okay,
know
yeah.
that they do have a child together.
It really was, believe it or not. honest to goodness, I'm telling you, watching Discovery and then watching this is not a good idea.
No, I thought we watched this before Discovery, didn't we?
No, we watched. This
Well, we'll
after
make
we
sure to
watched
watch
Discovery.
Monarch first this week.
Well, I tell you what, that's funny because I slept through Discovery, so it's like sleeping through the first period of class, I guess. So,
Because it really derailed my brain from. Being
Well,
able
so
to pay
we'll watch
attention.
Monarch first this week, and then
Okay.
maybe your brain will work better.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they raising, they do have a kid.
now I remember because Jason said, "Well, watch Discovery first, and then let Monarch be a palate cleanser." That was
Yeah.
your exact quote.
Yeah.
Okay,
Unfortunately, it turned out that it dulled my palate so sure.
So they're tracking some kind of radiation in the countryside.
Yeah.
Which with their magic gas masks to protect them from all the radiation. That still bugs me. I'm sorry.
Well, again, this is back in
they won't get lung cancer.
This was in the 50s. They didn't know shit in the 50s. This was in the 50s,
Dude,
right?
They were all still pretty stupid. Don't forget, 50s
Yeah.
is
They
the
weren't
era
that
of
stupid.
I don't know,
duck
man.
and cover, and
Duck
I
and
win
cover.
the argument.
No,
I win.
I'm not saying that they didn't do some stupid things, but by
And all three of us,
Some.
I
By
guarantee you, all three of
1959,
us did duck and cover drills because I've talked to so many people don't even know what they are. All three of us did, right?
We didn't over here.
we
'cause-
You didn't? Well,
I
I,
didn't.
know you,
Well,
Michael. You
Canada,
did,
they
right?
weren't worried about it. Nobody's going to nuke
No,
Canada.
when I was a kid, there's no duck and cover because the bomb was going to drop right on me because I lived at a NATO base,
Well,
so
I'll
there
never
was no
forget-
escape.
I'll never forget it. So every generation has its thing. Because I was talking to like one of my kids, and they were talking about like they have, especially because we had a UNLV shooting yesterday, which was terrible. There's so many of these school shootings, so now they do school shooting drills. And I was talking to one of my kids, and I was like, well, when I was a kid, I had to do atomic bomb drills called duck and covers, which were pointless because duck and covering under my desk is not going to save me from a nuclear blast.
No. My favorite was duck and cover up against the curb on the street.
Yeah, if you're outside, that was one. Another one was
Pulling up
everybody
in the
would go into the hallways and we would duck and cover and put our heads into the corner of the wall.
However, I mean, in all honesty, that would improve your chances of survival, but it's,
It would improve your chances of leaving behind a beautiful shadow. You can
Yeah. It
ask
depends
the
on how far
people
away you
of
were.
Hiroshima about
it
that.
depends on how far away you were.
Maybe one of the kids in the middle of the long row of kids in the hallway makes it. But
I'm just saying, your chances of being one of the few survivors is better if you duck and cover.
So, needless to say, Michael was not impressed with their choice of so-called.
wow, Darren, you can
Hazmat
suck
protector.
my what. They did duck and cover up until like the mid 80s because of the Cold War. So
Well,
I'm sorry. I
especially-
forgot I can do this.
Yes, please highlight the freaking
Darren Wagner.
You have
can
one
suck it.
job.
Okay, I'm working on it. It's my first day. It's my first day on the job. I'm working on it. Darren, you're out of your mind, dude. I'll never forget it. I did at least a dozen, and I graduated. Just to give you an idea, I graduated in '97. So you do the math. From kindergarten to at least third or fourth grade, I did duck and cover drills, like easily. Yeah.
Well, obviously, Darren disagrees with you because he says they didn't do it that late. I don't remember exactly.
Bullshit.
And so I don't remember how long they actually did the duck and cover drills.
All right.
Maybe Darren, because Darren lives in.
Hey, Darren, why don't you got a wrench, don't you? Why don't you drop us a link? Or hey, research department. That's your
I'm
job.
already there.
All right, my
I'm
man.
looking.
My man.
So anyway, so let's continue on with the
So
show.
they're tracking this radiation. They find Rando dude with a rifle, and so they're having a little standoff with Rando, and they're speaking in Japanese about
There's
how there's
overlap, Darren. Just like there's for those of you who can't see on the screen, I actually did my job. Duck and cover was a baby we're thing on Gen Xer thing. There's overlap, just like with every generation. There's always like a 2 to 4 year overlap buffer.
Well, see, Darren lives in Cheese Land. They're not worried about it because
the research department's still busy.
Wow,
man.
he's flat out calling. Darren, those are fighting words. We got I'll drop my gloves. Let's go, brother. Let's go.
Darren's just trying to rile things up. You know,
I know. Yeah.
he is the very definition of a troll. Ended in the early '60s.
You're out of your fucking mind. No, it didn't. Oh my god.
Man, I did Duck and Cover, and I was born in the late '60s. How?
Yeah. Okay.
You know?
So I'm not even going to highlight anymore. Now I know he's trolling. That's
Wow.
Yeah.
It might not have been advertised on TV after the early.
But there were
60s,
drills.
But they did drills in schools for it
through the Cold War. I swear to God, I remember it was one of the years
we
the
had-
Buffalo Bills. It was like the first year. You remember when the
Well,
Buffalo
I mean,
Bills
yeah,
in the
like
80s?
if
we had our nuke drills, we had our earthquake drills, and we had our fire drills.
Yeah.
And so
Now
if
they
you're talking
apparently-
about the cartoons with the little turtle, yeah, that was a '50s thing, but
Right.
Yeah.
but drills were
see Matt Vader. All right, I want to see Matt Vader.
Hey, there you go, Vader. Okay.
I want to see Vader. And by the way, that's a great AI picture.
that's awesome.
It makes me sick. I keep trying to make an.
Yeah,
AI
I've been
picture
trying.
of
I
me.
can't get a good AI
Yeah,
picture of me. But
It's like
I want to see
Odin
Matt
Vader.
Vader.
I know,
and
right?
Darren
Yeah.
Wagner, Matt Vader and Darren Wagner cage match.
Oh my God! Take my money. God.
Oh, that would be the best cage match ever. All right, so, but welcome, Matt. I didn't know you were here, so good.
Yeah, no, thanks for who? Oh, he's in the other chat, Matt. We're talking about Darren Wagner. Vader's in my chat. I'm gonna put the link to your
That's why
chat.
I told you to put both links.
I
in.
know. I need to learn how to do that. So, hey, Vader, here, look.
You don't know how to put some more text in a tweet.
That's
There
the
it
link.
is.
Yeah.
NPR, nuclear strike drills only faded away in the 1980s.
Told you.
Bam.
Boom. Call me a liar.
Yeah.
Jesus, why would I lie about something like that? You think I wanted to do that shit? It was terrifying.
And so, yeah, Darren. First of all, Darren's trying to move the goalposts.
Yeah.
But second of all, it's still not true, Darren.
Oh, well, Vader says he's at work. He's not staying. He just popped in. Thank you so much, man. Give me a like, brother. I appreciate you so much. One of these days, I got to get you to be a guest on the wrestling show because it's coming back. Episode 30, baby.
Wow, John, what the heck is that?
Planet
What?
X, the nerd fights thing is when Salty hangs out with the lower class. What?
So, anyways, yeah.
First of all,
We acknowledge you, Vader. Thank you for stopping by.
yeah,
We love you,
thanks
man.
for dropping by, Vader. It's always good to see you, buddy. One of these days, you should come on and co-host with us.
You should, man. Kadish used to do it, but
Although that means I'm going to have to make a 4-window version of this.
he's at work though. Is the
I know he's at
problem.
work right now, but he doesn't work.
Yeah, well, he's probably got a schedule. Like we do the show the same time. He works.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like me. He's got a normal job.
Yeah.
Of sorts.
Darren thinks we went to backward schools because we did duck and cover drills, or maybe our schools didn't want us to die. Your school was just like, screw the kids.
Hey, Jamie, in our research department, what year did Reagan have Gorbachev take the wall down?
Jamie?
It's a joke. Jamie is the research guy on the Joe Rogan show.
Yeah, Jamie's the guy behind the camera on, on Joe Rogan Experience.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, it was either 80. I think it was 87 was when he made this.
Was it that late in the 80s?
Yeah, it was.
See,
Well, don't forget, Gorbachev
Darren,
only
fuck
took
you,
over.
man. I was in
Gorbachev
third
only
grade
took
when that
over
happened.
in 85.
Okay.
So a lot of people don't realize that there were like 3 old people that were all old guard Soviets. They all took over, died in like 9
Darren,
months.
Okay, we never said
I'm pretty sure literally all of us said the same
We
thing.
were all
bro.
just mocking like
Good
all the
Jesus.
aspects of it. So
Oh,
anyway,
my God.
anyway, so moving on. So they're in the woods
So
and they find
Darren
a small
Wagner
Russian.
is you successfully derailed the show. Good job, Darren.
Yeah.
All right, so they find the hole, but when they get to
Oh
the
my
hole,
God! Oh my God!
Anyway,
I don't know. Like it's not coming up in our thing, but do you see his latest comment that was
no.
put up? Oh, now it lets me look at this.
Well, Darren, that is why we arranged it this way.
Oh
Yes,
my
yes.
God!
That
That would have been the perfect time for your icon. That would have been the perfect time for your
Yeah.
icon.
oh yeah, stop.
All right, so now that
Yeah, now that Darren is satisfied,
Yes.
stay on target.
Yeah.
Like it's my fault. Like it's my fault. Okay.
hey, I haven't played the stay on target thing in a long time. I'm trying to leave Danny alone about that. But
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So
all right, so they find that when they get to the giant space hole, there's no radiation for some reason because that's not how radiation works.
well, that's
No,
all
well,
in-
no. I thought the
yeah.
implication was they ate it all.
Yeah, it's like they gobble it up and then
I
they
thought
can't
they
detect
ate it all. Is the
anymore.
way I took it.
Yeah, but but her little Geiger counter would have gradually gone down. It wouldn't just be it's at 800 milliamp.
Oh, hey man, as a former fat guy, if I was presented with a nice big full pizza, I guarantee you I could eat it the whole thing quicker than the normal guy would eat a single slice. And maybe they did that the same way with the radiation. So there wouldn't have been a gradual thing. It was like it was there and then whoop, and then it was gone. Like that's how I took it.
What's down there is just a bunch of eggs.
I don't know. The eggs
I
are
don't-
eating it. I'm
yeah,
not too worried
like-
about it. I need
yeah.
to watch. I need to rewatch and also watch more.
All right. Meanwhile, in 2015, they're still trying to figure out why the heck.
And this is
Dead Dude have to-
between for those of you out there, for everything we've been talking about this whole show, this is between Godzilla and Skull Island. The time frame we're looking at right now. Just
I don't.
for
Well, it's
context.
between Godzilla and King of the Monsters because Skull Island is before.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Okay,
Skull
Godzilla and King of the Monsters. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Remember, King Kong was
It
in
was a prequel. Yeah, yeah.
1973. So yeah, we go. You muted yourself.
This is between what you just said, Godzilla and Godzilla King of the
So we have
Monsters.
Monarch in the 50s, then we have Skull Island in the 70s, then we have Godzilla 2014, and then we have later Monarch, and then we have King of the Monsters, Godzilla versus Kong.
Well, they don't get into King of the Monsters yet. You're getting ahead of yourself.
And Wokezilla coming soon.
Yeah.
And so
Oh, okay. I meant as it pertains to this series, this episode doesn't go as far as 2018 or whatever it is.
right. This is 20. Who knows? It might eventually, but for right now,
I think it will, man. I think they're trying to make this connective tissue to everything, and I bet you, especially because they're releasing it weekly, and they just released that trailer, and there's all this buzz. I bet you the last episode somehow leads into the next movie. I bet dollars to donuts. Do what?
What Wokezilla?
Yeah, I bet dollars to donuts it does.
Yeah. All right, so let's continue on. So she decides to leave. Meanwhile, they bring some, seismic explosives because that's what Monarch likes to use.
Every time there's a small spike in radiation, I want to just want to throw this out there as a possibility. If I ate a bunch of tacos, I'd
you're gonna be
eventually
radiating.
fart. Yeah, so they ate a bunch of radiation. They farted. That was the spike. It was there. It was gone. It was like a radiation fart. That's what I think. I'm serious.
And yes, Stanley, sorry, because our chat guy is not doing his job. Yes, Godzilla was, she was in the Godzilla. She was on the Golden Gate Bridge when Godzilla came to see her.
Yes, and if you go back and watch Godzilla 2014, which I did, they spend a lot of time. There's actually a really cool scene where a bus driver says "F you, police," and he just floors it to get through there to save all the kids on his bus. Clearly, this chick wasn't.
She's like on the next bus behind him.
Yeah, she's not so lucky. Like her bus driver gets knocked out, and everybody dies, but her and like 6 kids.
All right. So anyway, so they take their seismic explosives because that's what Monarch likes to use, and in order to try and map whatever's underground at this place.
What kind of? I already
They
told
do
you
not
parts.
specify a specific wavelength or anything.
Yeah, whatever. They find a giant
Oh,
hole in the ground.
Yeah, it's
Stanley thinks it's tasty, so that's good.
and so they blow up the hole. Then back in 2015, she's talking to her mom about what she found, but then the phone gets cut off because all of a sudden their alarms are going off because it's the early warning system for Godzilla. So everybody runs to the shelter.
So I got a question. So I
Yes.
got Stanley is talking about this here. If I recall correctly, didn't I have some very serious post-day gastrointestinal? Yes, yes.
Well, it
so
wasn't just gastral; it was
it was like,
urological as well.
yes. That's a good word for it. Yeah.
A meteor hit Uranus.
Yeah,
Well,
and I pissed
all
fire. I
exit
pissed
routes
lava.
were unpleasant.
Yeah, they were all terrible.
Yeah. So yeah, you had some serious radiation that day.
Yeah.
All right, so here and this is probably the best scene of this episode as far
Oh
as
my God! Yeah,
where
yeah.
we
And-
see
and this is-
Godzilla's approach from a different angle.
if you go back, I kind of want to split screen it. If you go back, Godzilla 2014, and some of these scenes, they do a good job, man. They really
Right.
do.
Because at first you might think this is reused footage, but it's not. It's a different angle. So this
Yeah.
is actually new. This is where all the money for this episode went.
Yeah.
Is they actually have a new shot of Godzilla destroying the Golden Gate Bridge with her on it, and so their bus is right on the edge of the area that was wrecked. So she acts quickly as a chaperone should, goes to the emergency exit. Which I remember when I was a kid, I always wanted to open that emergency exit door. And
Oh man, we got told don't touch that. so
You
many
you
times.
say that, but when you have to, it's
I'm not saying I
seriously-
wanted an emergency. I'd say I just wanted to open the emergency exit door.
Oh.
Yeah,
well,
yeah,
that's,
yeah.
yeah. No, I never.
You
had
wanted to
any
put
desire
firecrackers in GI Joes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's yeah.
Remember, I blew up the Hoover Dam.
Yeah. You're
I was,
no one. You know
I
what?
was a mischievous little tyke.
No wonder you found. No wonder you had to find Jesus decades before me. It's fine. It's fine. It's no, I didn't get as dark as you until my 40s. I actually kind of feel good about myself.
It's
now.
not like I was sitting there torturing, waterboarding
I mean, okay.
The world couldn't handle Mike otherwise.
Yeah, right. Dude, so she jumps out. She only saves like 6 kids, right?
Not
I wanna
even
say-
that.
You don't not even
like a
that.
couple
This is
that
a
got out.
tragic scene.
No, it is, dude.
Yeah,
Like
'cause
she
that's
saves some kids though. I
Yeah.
remember
I
that.
think she saves like 2 or 3.
No, they show it. They show it.
Yeah, I
She
know.
pulls
They're
them out.
going to just a minute. So Godzilla is right there over her.
And it looks just like Godzilla from 2014. It
Well,
does,
shit.
man.
And look how big. So think about it. If we compare, like when we were talking about the size of Kong, remember, she is on the Golden Gate Bridge. Godzilla is standing in the water.
Probably hundreds of, if
Right.
not thousands of
King
feet
Kong,
away.
King Kong from the King Kong movie, his head would be under her feet. And
I mean, I don't know why you got to throw shade at King Kong.
I'm not. I'm just saying that's how big these kaiju are.
No, I think you're exaggerating a little bit. I think we would see.
His feet are on the ocean floor, dude.
I think we would see the top of King Kong's head at the brake light on the bus. I don't think it's that big a difference.
But that's huge. You're looking.
Yeah. But that's why when he grows like 100, 200 feet between the last movie and the next movie,
Right.
he's not, it's not as bad.
But he still gets curb stomped.
He won the second round.
Because he had a magic axe.
So, what's funny is I was talking to a friend.
That's like, hey, I won the second round when I fought this guy. Of course, I brought a gun into the ring with me.
Fair enough. So a friend of
Goal
mine.
is to win, right?
Yeah. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Yeah.
So a friend of mine, I was telling him about all this, trying to get them to watch my show, and I don't even know if they did or not. The whole thing is like, you want.
Well,
He just.
Uh-oh.
I thought he had a dramatic
yeah, I
pause.
know it's like the most dramatic pause in the world.
Yeah, but I guess his internet cut out. Either that, or he's really milking that pause. Or yeah, you are. You're milking the pause, you prick.
You nailed that. You were not.
That was good.
moving.
I will give you credit. That was
You
good.
were not
But
moving.
dang, you are a prick.
So I'm going to be honest, like William Shatner. What do we got here? Darren Wagner, classic American King Kong is they. No, yeah, no, they.
But this is the classic King Kong.
Yeah, he joined us late.
Yeah.
We already
We
talked
already
about.
reviewed the entire Kong movie.
Yeah, so he was. Yeah. Anyway, point being, Godzilla's an asshole, and this.
Well,
part
not
is
really.
terrible.
Remember, Godzilla shows up to stop the Muto. It's just that he had to get through the Golden Gate Bridge to do it. You know.
Yeah.
I guess he could have picked a less, a route with less people in it. But, Godzilla's got to be a Godzilla. But it's not
Yeah.
like if Godzilla were definitely being a prick, he would just wreck the bridge.
So, whoa! Is this true? Look at what Vader's saying, because I thought we all agreed that.
We don't know exactly what I'm talking, but we just
Well,
know.
no, but, because if that's true, that means King Kong is
Like,
taller
too
than
much, like-
him, 150 feet taller. If
Right.
that's true.
I don't know. I'd have to. I don't know if there's an official scale.
Oh wow,
Research
Vader!
department-
Let us. Where'd you get that from, bro? Let us know, because we're gonna do a deep dive. Like we're gonna go.
Oh,
all
you're going to
on our-
investigate him like you investigated me, apparently?
Hell yeah. Or in the words of L.A. Knight, yeah.
I don't know what your investigation turned out. Anyway, research department.
Yes, sir.
Have you found anything?
On what?
The height.
Validating
Come on,
put it back
Kong's height, Godzilla's height in
Right
the
there.
legendary MonsterVerse, not in the classic.
no. Let's fact
Well,
check
that's
this.
2014 is the legendary.
This is the Bryan Cranston movie.
right. Legendary is the name of the company that produced all the new Godzilla movies, the American ones, as opposed to Toho.
Oh, okay. He says actually, Vader. I guess you say they suck. I actually really like Screen Rant, but I didn't watch any of their Godzilla stuff because when I'm gonna review something, I
That's
don't want to
funny.
watch.
ended
I don't
up
want to
on
watch.
Screen Rant's article.
Oh, you did. I don't want to watch other people's stuff before I. So like,
I'm sorry.
why
Did Metaball Studio do something on it? Because they're big on height differences.
I don't know, but to my point, and are you guys kind of the same way? So, I was on a show the other day, Zach's, from my days with Pop Culture Minefield, which I still don't know why I'm not there. Zach's was reviewing Monarch, and they're reviewing it in real time. And then I found out, but when he started talking about it, I left because I didn't want somebody else's opinion to influence my own before doing our show. You know what I mean? And then apparently Salty Nerd, I had no idea. They've been reviewing it every week. So they're like up to up or whatever. So I had to turn that off because I don't want other people's opinion to affect my own on our show. Are you guys the same way, or do you not care? You're like, I'll listen to everything, and it's not gonna.
It depends
don't
on what it
know.
is. Like something like this, I probably wouldn't be too worried about something influencing me because I've gone back and watched.
An article. I never visit their website. Sorry,
Yeah,
Jason.
I'm on there. And I've got the one he's probably talking about right now.
Okay.
It says he should be between 350 and 400 feet. That's
That's
based on
shorter
the
than
fact
King
that-
Kong.
No. That is Kong in Kong versus Godzilla. The one.
But they said he was 500 feet in Skull Island, I thought, and he's still going.
No.
No?
There's some discontinuity going on there.
There is?
Apparently
Okay.
He was only about 100 and something feet tall in Kong Skull Island.
Holy crap, that's it? So he
Yeah.
he doubled in size between those two movies?
Well, I mean, he was supposedly a teenager, according to the screen.
Right, but it does.
Okay.
It does. That's one of the things I was complaining about was that why is it that he grew so much between 1973 and 2014 when he didn't grow that much between 1944?
44. Well, maybe he was just born in 1940.
If he was born in 1940, then he should have been about 12 feet tall instead of,
Maybe
you know,
he
but,
Hey,
you know,
he could have just had a late growth spurt, man.
Yeah, you know, like
It
yeah,
happens.
Vader say, "Hey, dude, I believe you," and they
Yeah.
just did the research. It just
Yeah.
that's what we were. For
Right.
some reason, that was the number thrown around earlier. So I don't know.
For those interested in reading the article, there you go. Both
yeah, throw it
chats.
in the chat. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Anyway, but you know, I'm sure you could try to calculate their size.
No,
But
no. See,
the
he
point
missed the
is
beginning.
Godzilla's
He is
a lot
still a
bigger.
growing boy.
Yeah.
He missed
Yeah.
that. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
but-
that came up.
Yeah, the main thing is Godzilla is way bigger than Kong, and at least until we get Godzilla versus Kong, then they're roughly the same size.
Yeah, let's stick to Monarch. We
yeah.
can, you know,
Yeah.
guys, we really ought to, instead of doing 2 episodes, do one of the movies and an episode, because there are ways to weave them together. I promise
Yeah, but
you.
it's
I can
that's
show
too
you.
much. It's too
Yeah,
much
that's a
content.
lot because we're straining to get a movie and an episode in here. So
Yeah, like as hard
2
as this-
episodes, I think we can handle. I think a movie and an episode will break us all.
Well, you know what?
Well, I'm straining. We
yeah.
need to.
Yeah, we're
He's
running
got to
out.
go. All right.
I need to wrap.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, we should be done within 10 minutes. That's yeah. So this is
that's not
what we're talking about. So right here, she looks at the kids. Kid number 1 saved.
Yeah. Okay.
Kid number 2 saved.
2,
Kid number 3 saved.
3. Is that it? Just 3?
And then
And then
Oh,
Grass
it's just
by.
3. Oh,
Yeah.
man.
rest of the bus dead.
yeah,
All those kids dead. Now, and look, you can see that there's tons of kids in there trying to get out.
Yeah. Oh.
Now, granted, Godzilla did not kill these kids on purpose. That's
Look,
Godzilla is not like. And now I will tell you, if and when please go see Godzilla -1 in theaters. That Godzilla will go out of his way to kill everybody.
Okay. Look.
But this Godzilla does not.
So, are either of you familiar with Dragon Ball Z?
barely.
Only by name.
So, do either of you familiar with Vegeta
No.
and his crimes against humanity? Okay. So here's the thing. What Vegeta is to
How long is this going to take? Because remember, he's only
Dragon Ball Z, as to what Godzilla is to the MonsterVerse. I can never forgive Vegeta for destroying an entire planet populated by not just men, but women and children, families. Killed an entire planet. So Godzilla, I don't care. He killed like a lot of people. Like, he's never going to be a good guy in my eyes. He's always the bad guy. I don't care.
Well, they made Godzilla into the bad guy in the later movies anyway. But however, I would say that in this movie, Godzilla is the good guy. It's just
movie. Okay. I thought we were talking about Monarch episode 1.
right. But in this incident that we're talking about, Godzilla was working to take down the Mutos, who were going to destroy everything.
Right. From Godzilla 2014.
Yeah,
However,
he didn't-
he killed a ton of people in the process.
But not nobody that Godzilla killed was intentional.
The
In
best.
fact, he avoided killing people.
Oh, so they call that involuntary manslaughter, for which I still believe there's a punishment, right?
Well,
that he never has
That's
to.
actually
do
a lot of times for if involuntary, you might get off.
Yeah,
pretty-
it's without. He did it without malice. Okay.
Oh wow! Or as Darren says, those people just got in Godzilla's
Well,
way.
yeah.
The thing about
Without
earlier in
malice.
this, and granted, I wish it was in this scene, but it's not. Remember when the attack first starts, the American Navy starts firing their guns, and it's going to hit the Golden Gate Bridge, and Godzilla jumps up to take the fire. And so Godzilla actually protects the people on the bridge to a certain extent. So unfortunately, then he has to get through, and
Read this.
Yeah.
Read
That's
this.
how Godzilla-
Oh, I agree, Ariel. If you see Godzilla -1, you will see Godzilla the way Godzilla was meant to be.
So I'm gonna go see it. I don't know if Vader's still here. I know the salty nerds casted a shit ton of shade compared to everybody else, but
you need to see it so we can do a proper
I'm
review of it.
I'm gonna
Jason,
watch
you
it.
need to see
I
it.
promise you, I'm gonna go see it this weekend.
It's worth it, Jason.
Yeah.
It really is.
Danny.
As long as here, let me look it up.
But Danny, can we finish the episode?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
do.
go ahead.
I really. We need to find a way to.
We're right there. Okay, so they find They find a bunch of eggs, and meanwhile, in the future, they're still talking.
She gets through her whole PTSD with the being in the subway,
Right.
and then they go to the office, and then from the office they take
They
the
find the
stuff
magic safe.
to the horrible hacker friend who doesn't know better to stay off of the internet while hacking crap.
Which is, she's the worst hacker ever.
Yeah.
And by the way, her hooking up with that dude, I don't buy for a second. So,
Oh shit! It's at South Point.
What?
I'm buying my tickets right now because you were giving me grief.
Oh, for Godzilla -1.
Yeah. It's literally at South Point. I didn't realize it was at South Point.
I don't know what South Point is, but
It's the closest movie theater to me.
So yeah, she literally logs into an online decryption program to decrypt their information. Yeah. And of course, it immediately sends out a signal to Monarch so that they know that someone's decrypting their stuff.
Yeah.
And so then this guy gets involved, who we'll be seeing a lot of later.
Yeah. That dude was really weird, right?
And so she explains that Dad was not in G-Day. So here's G-Day +5. She's in the wreckage. Her dad calls, makes sure she's okay, gives her a hug. Yay, aren't they happy? And then he immediately just leaves.
I got to get back to my son because he's more important because you're a woman.
Well, no, he says he's going to Alaska.
Yeah.
And which, they'll go to Alaska in a future episode.
Yes, we do.
So then they find even, oh, look, evidence, anybody? I guess they had some evidence, didn't they?
Yeah.
And so with a picture of Grandma in the, and so this is where, and see, I was trying to stop Danny from spoiling things, but yeah, this is where they do establish that, yes, so that is their grandmother, which means that they are
they are Randa's.
All Randa's, yeah.
Yes. John Goodman's grandbabies.
Yeah.
All randoms.
Yeah. And so then they go down to investigate the eggs, but as soon as they go near them, they start hatching. What the eggs are, we don't really know, except that they're like giant flea tick things.
Yeah. I thought they weren't the skull crawler. Oh no. They're gross.
Bugs.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, this is so beat up.
Yeah. So they climb up and form her, and they're trying to save her, and nope, she's dead. The end of her. We will never see her again.
No, she's dead.
Danny?
What?
We will never see her again. Just making sure you're on the same page there.
I'm just saying that it was heartbreaking because that might explain why he felt like he had to. This might be the weirdest thing that I'm hung up on. Before this show is over, they need to explain why his kid felt the need to have two families, because that was weird to me.
Well, I'm sure we will, but
are you sure? Because it might be one of those things they just say, nah, just deal with it.
If they don't, then my rating for the series is going to be pretty dang low.
Agreed.
All right.
Agreed.
So, Danny.
No, let Jason go first. You made me go first all night.
Jason, what's your score and final thoughts on episode 1 of Monarch? I think it's called Aftermath, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
It's the aftermath of 2014. Godzilla, episode 1. Movie 1, sorry. He's going to do an I don't know again. Oh, 6? Okay.
So
it's not 5. I wasn't bored, but...
Let me know when she's done puking. I don't want to see that.
I mean, the funny thing is, I could end up enjoying it more once I've got the rest of the context, but...
Right.
That's totally... They should have dropped it
on its own like this. Yeah, it's kind of... I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, this is the best I can muster right now.
I can see that. What about you, Danny?
See, I can't be fair because I've seen 4 episodes.
Right, but how would you rate this episode?
I can't be like.
If you have to rate it,
you are now tainted, aren't you?
Yeah. I am because I
stop watching ahead. I told you not to watch episode 4, but you watched.
No, first of all, I watched all of the episodes before you guys even hopped on.
Mike had 3 I actually watched already.
So I watched the first 3. You watched the first 3. I told you don't watch episode 4,
and then I watched it anyway. Okay, you're right. No, you're right. That's exactly how this happened. Okay, You're right. All
All
right.
right.
I I hate
Ariel, the turdometer comes in. There is one score that involves turds.
so this is probably a tainted score. I want to give it a 7. I can't give it less than a 7. But it could have been a 6. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, so I'm gonna because I definitely know this is not my favorite episode out of the 4 I've seen. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
So,
Right.
so
Well,
I,
don't say anything that involves the other episodes.
okay, so I'm gonna say just 7. I'm gonna say 7 out of 10.
No, that's fair.
I am torn on this one a little bit because I would if we had 0.5, so I'd probably get a 5.5.
Oh wow.
Because aside from the very brief appearances of monsters, I found most of the episode very slow paced and frankly kind of boring. Now I know where it's going to a point, and I think it's interesting. But
Now
this
you're making me think I overrated this episode.
well, it's your choice.
Well, no, I mean
If you enjoyed it, you give it a score.
I don't know because I've watched
I
4
would
episodes.
I would. Okay, so the first time you watched episode 1, you wanted to see more, but you were you more on the?
How did you feel after seeing episode 1?
So I got lucky. By the time I caught on to this show, 3 episodes were out, and I binged 3 episodes.
Oh yeah.
So
See,
I-
when I watched
that
episode
breaks
1
it.
in isolation, I did watch, and when I watched,
I did, and I binged 3 episodes. So.
no, see, I didn't
Yeah, that
binge the
makes it
first
hard.
time, and so I would say this: when I watched episode 1, I was like, "That's interesting." I mean, if I didn't know there was another Godzilla movie coming and stuff, I probably would just eventually watch it. But it's not something I'm dying to see next week when it comes out. Right?
See, and
that's why
Stanley, I totally agree with you. I wish they would have dropped them all at once.
Makes
That
it
would've
hard
been-
to do the reviewing.
Yeah.
But
I prefer weekly drops, honestly. But
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I
Okay.
do. For one thing, because we do this, we
Yeah.
couldn't review an entire series in one night.
No.
All right, so I'm gonna go with 6. I want at 5.5 is where I'd lean
So
because
we got
there's
5, 6, 7. So that means what
Well,
we average.
no,
No, I'm
what?
giving it a
6,
6.
and
So we have 2 6s and a 7. So that means our score is a 6.3.
Okay.
So 63% on the whatever thing.
Critic
Oh,
list.
if we
Yeah.
do episodes. I
If
don't
we
know.
do the critic. Well, that's the thing. I've talked to Blaine. He's the guy that runs it. He's never going to do episodes. I wish he would.
All right, so we're just doing Kong then for now.
He might do seasons.
Right.
He said
a whole season of a show.
a whole
yeah.
season of a show because I had to do a review of Picard on Critic List, and I couldn't review it per season. So I had to give it a much lower score than I wanted to because I hated seasons
So
1
you
and
just had to
2.
rate the entire series.
But I had to rate, so I hit him up. I was like, "Hey, man, is there any way you can break this up into seasons, preferably episodes?" And he was blunt. He was like, "We're working on seasons. We're never going to do episodes." I was like, "Okay." So
well, that's late.
I agree. I kind of agree.
Yeah. But anyway,
Blaine.
so we got 6.3 would be our score on this one. Soon we'll be on Critic List. Critic List?
Critic less. Critic less.
Yeah. So hopefully soon we'll be on there, assuming that our chat expert can, figure that out. And so 6.3 nerds. We've been on for too long, so we do need to sign off because Jason is going to fall asleep in his chair, which granted would be entertaining, but not nearly as entertaining as the Patreons will get if they watch our first watch of this episode, where Danny was literally sleeping in his chair.
Through Discovery. And hey, we
Yeah.
haven't even hit 3 hours yet. Jason can say goodbye. We can keep going. We can have
I,
fun.
I don't want to keep going for all night. That's not what
Stay
the
up
time frame.
all night. Okay, fine.
All right. And so I hope you enjoyed. It's actually fun doing the movie. I do think
It really was.
movies every now and then.
I messed up stuff on the tweet. Before we go, Michael, because you're on my channel as well as yours. Tell the people where they can find you, Jason. Tell the people where they can find you. Let's
Right here.
help each other grow.
This is where you go. Right here.
What is right here?
Well, for
So,
now,
the support
the
salty,
easiest way
is that
is
what the
right
website
here.
is?
I
So,
think- I
okay,
think-
yeah. See, I used to be good at this. www.supportsalty.com.
And that's what we got to set that up so that when we
Well,
can, if we
we
put
need
it,
to get the nerdfights.ca.
CA.
populated
Actually,
with all of our stuff.
apparently you don't have time for this.
No,
well, we can talk off air. So let's go. All
no,
right,
I
guys.
don't have any time.
Yeah, I know.
don't-
Jason
okay.
can, but we can.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So have a good one. Thank you for hanging out, and we be like not here anymore.
Live long and prosper.
If I can figure out how to stop
Fine.
this because I'm
Kiddos.